got nothing. I was really starting to think that I used my backup E.H. Carr quote last week. That's the only quote from a history book I honestly remember verbatim. So yeah, welcome back to the Dynasty Grind. My name's Peter Howard at PA Howdy on Twitter. I'm here with Russ Fisher and Zach Reed, Dynasty Dummies podcast and the Trade Addicts podcast. Not in order, actually. I did that out of order, who you'll meet in a minute. If you have any good Dynasty questions, comments, or thoughts, please drop them in whatever comment box on the streaming platform you're listening to. We are currently live to YouTube on, I think, 2 different channels, mine and DLF. We're also live to Facebook. Sorry, Facebook, we're always late. You'll kick us out next week again because of that, and I don't know what to tell you. I enjoy talking to my friends, and we often go over the 9:30 mark. I set the schedule. Why can't I not change the schedule when I need to, Facebook? And also, somehow we're live to Twitter. I didn't know Twitter had a live platform, but it gives you that box. So, hey, Twitter, apparently, if you have any questions, let us know. I've vamped probably as long as I could. So, Terry Pratchett. The truth may be out there, but lies live in your head, which is actually really Dynasty relevant, especially during the changing nature of a season as players come up and players underperform what you hoped them to be. You have to start to slowly give up on what you thought the truth was and accept the reality of what is. And it's remarkably difficult because screw reality. I was right. I don't really care what it says. So that's the quote we're leading off from, and I'm not looking for the button. There he is. Hey, why do you guys always get out of position when we do that? I don't
look. You may have Terry Pratchett, but I subscribe to Adam Savage of Mythbusters. I reject your reality and substitute my own, Peter.
There you go. Well, what reality are you substituting right now? What does everyone think is true that you no.
Can I steal real quick? I know we got questions. I know we have people in the chat. But can I steal this real quick?
Sure, go for it. You want us to leave or
no? You can say but I've been doing fantasy football podcasts now since 2015. So quick math. This is my 8th year doing fantasy football podcasts. Every year in season, this stuff is, and you're going to have to pardon me the pun, but it's a grind. Like every year it gets bad. This year, and specifically because of all of the people here in this chat, all of the people who show up, comment, watch, they keep the show moving, keep the show fun, and you and Russ too. But like this year has been an absolute blast so far. Even in season, I've had fun. I haven't had malaise. I haven't had a grind. Nice. It's been great. And so I just wanted to start off thank you two, but thank everybody who shows up every week, everybody who is in the chat. This is awesome. This is fun, and absolutely thank you.
No, I agree. By week 8, I am forcing myself to write articles and scrape data at this point. But tonight is something I actually look forward to. That's a thing I have to do about fantasy that I'm not like, oh, God, I got to just figure it out yourselves. And no, you're right. I understand the emotion, which is definitely a weird emotion because you spend most of your time saying, hey, please let me do this for you. And then week 8, you're like, oh, why are you making me do this?
Because by week 8, everyone you've written about all the important people. Other players got hurt, so you're like, "Let me tell you about Deonta Foreman. Let me tell you about whoever the running back is behind Michael Carter and James Robinson."
I was waiting for Sam Ellinger. Is that where we're at now?
That's the lie truth. I don't know which one's living in my head and which one's out there. And Travis Etienne should not be a top 5 dynasty running back. That's the one I got into an argument with.
I mean, he's going to be top 10 by default.
I don't think that necessarily happens by the end of the season. I know his rank already got there and keep trade cut. But I think Yeah, it is now, and I don't think it stays there, and I definitely don't think it stays there by August.
His value and his value and his value are two different things. Although right now, like, I don't mind having Travis Etienne on my roster because he's going to score points. Maybe not in the quantity that he has been, but he's going to score points.
No, but I feel like I already have to put it in the L column because we've been soft selling since this offseason. Wait for the hype video, and like if we sold at some point before that, like this is the best, obviously the best time. But so I got it wrong on some sense already.
See, here's the thing: like everything. Well, running back comes down to coaching decisions. I'm
more so, yeah.
Zach, you're the one that says that, right? Like I know that's definitely not a me thing, and. Like, even at the beginning of the season, it was James Robinson. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, wait, no. We actually put capital into this other guy. Let's slowly phase out Robinson. And then, like, they must have known they were going to trade him because you don't just go to 0 touches for no reason.
Yeah.
So, like, they were phasing him out anyway. It wasn't bad process because... it was right. It was
like, and the sell high and buy low to me is you don't ever know where the peak is, but you know that you bought ETN at running back 23 when we were talking about him, and he ended up at running back 13 when we were like, yeah, you should. So like. That's a big win. Now, if he ends up at running back 6, is that as big a win as you could have had? No. So yes, it's a loss, but it's a moral victory. I don't know.
I'm going by, but I mean, right now, like tiering by sometimes you want the production, sometimes you want the value in August.
Right.
I struggle to get into the top 12. Like, even if you just remove maybe if you remove the players that are relevant for points, you get to, I think it's a top 12 running back. Yeah. But I can't get him to the top 5. Like, I'm holding Barkley and Saquon over him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all she wrote. Unless everyone else forgot. I actually kind of forgot Jonathan Taylor until I went back to ranks. I was like, oh yeah, that guy used to play.
and like Swift too. But like the thing is, it all comes down to there's two kinds of people. The people that are willing to just take profit when it's profit, which I'm absolutely that kind of guy. Like my friend and I do a lot of stuff with football cards, and I get a card. Oh, awesome. I paid $30 to join this break and I got this $300 card. Wait, you want to give me $400? Yes, here. Awesome. Thank you. I just made a ton of money. But my friend's like, but the card's worth $7. Why wouldn't you wait until you could find the $7? Because it was a Tua card. Because then Tua gets hurt again, misses a year, and his cards drop to $15.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, yeah, if you're willing to wait, I have faith in Tua. Like, this is getting very specific, but like, he held on to one of Tua's cards that was supposed to be worth this great amount of money, and then all of a sudden, Tua gets hurt, and like he missed the peak, and it went down fast. Like, get out a year early instead of a year late. Like, I mean, that's sort of the same thing. It's like, be willing to take your profit. You don't need to get the most ever possible because you're never going to know where that peak is. So get your profit, be happy about it. The end. Graphic 13, 12-team Superflex, start 11 rebuild.
No,
Gave Trey Lance for Mac Jones, then flipped Mac Jones, Allen Lazard, Deonta Foreman, got Jameson Williams and an early 23 third. Thoughts? Thanks.
In a Superflex, I would want more than Jameson Williams and a third for Trey Lance.
And see, we're getting to the point where I'm starting to compare hit rates with rookies, and I still haven't looked at the class, but I've had a few Jameson Williams, and we've mentioned him as like maybe someone that's got a bump coming because once points aren't being scored.
Yep.
But the trades I'm seeing him in, like, I'm not seeing it. It's like mid to late first, gonna miss at a particularly high rate. And he's kind of being valued more than that here, like a lot more than that, to be honest. But you're cascade trading. You're adding players that probably will have more value in August. Williams is probably going to go up by August. Mac Jones after this season probably at best a hole. So I understand it, but yeah, it's just a quarterback for a non-quarterback. It's
Trey Lance in August is going to have more value than everybody there because people are he's going to be the starter again.
Well, he held Trey Lance, right?
No, he gave up. Trey Lance.
Oh, he cascaded Lance into Mac Jones, and then Mac Jones. Yeah, he traded Lance for a first-round pick a late first-round pick last draft. I can see what he was trying. But it's not for me, I think Trey Lance, I hope we said till now is in a hole until we see that bump.
Yeah, and I don't mind trading Trey Lance, but I don't want to trade him now. Unless
you're getting what you like to Russ's point, unless you're getting 90% of what you think you will get when. Randy, 14-team Superflex PPR said Jonathan Taylor, Deion Jackson, Nick Foles.
So just Jonathan Taylor. Okay.
Yeah, just Jonathan Taylor. For Devontae Smith, Michael Carter, Jamal Williams.
I love that.
23 first. 24 first.
Love it.
Yeah. I love that. 2 firsts and Devontae Smith plus a couple of running backs who, are going to score a little bit this year.
He just kept adding to that, didn't he? Yeah. No, I think Smith in those first, and I would have felt like it was a pretty good trade. And all the extra is extra. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, as long as that's true. Randy, and now my wide receivers are Chase London, Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, Traylon Burks, Jamison Williams, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, Wandale Robinson, Kadarius Toney. That's unfortunate.
Mooney hashtag free Elijah. Can we start that now?
It's another good example of sell when the selling was good. In that case, it would have worked out.
He needs to be in Green Bay.
No, he's just not going to happen.
Elijah Moore?
Oh no, sorry. I was talking about Tony.
Oh,
well, Moore's just a hole. Randy Wyatt, the Breece Hall injury scared the crap out of me, and I don't think Taylor gets as many catches without Matt Ryan dumping it off to him.
He got a lot more from Wentz last year than he's getting from Ryan this year.
I'm just going to say take that whole quarterback to running back thought that probably someone that makes a lot more money than me and it has a lot more followers than me told you. Throw it in the trash can. Just throw it away. I don't care how cool they are. They are fucking wrong and they should stop fucking saying it. And I'm swearing at this point because like Christian McCaffrey broke it and we're several years past that. No, you should be kicked off of whatever platform you're on the minute you say
Cam
that
Newton
shit.
Can't throw to running backs. He's not accurate. He throws too hard.
It's not wrong. At this point, you're actively trying to create a better market for yourself by selling lies. At this point, Randy, not you, whoever's pushing that. Like it, no. Anyway, and yeah, the Breece Hall. Ryan McDowell put out a tweet the other day saying Breece Hall is going to change the way people see running back. I'm like, I didn't know that was going to be. Well, I didn't know Breece Hall was.
Here's the thing about that, Peter, is so what Randy's trying to do is justify the fact that he traded Jonathan Taylor, which he doesn't have to do because he made a great trade.
Oh no,
that's a great Jonathan Taylor trade. Like getting 2 first, getting Devontae Smith, getting a couple of running backs who are great guys to have on your roster because they could score points. Like that's a great trade, Randy. The issue with Breece Hall and Peter, I think it was Ryan McDowell who tweeted that out.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah,
and I was like, I didn't know he was living in our consciousness as a community that hard. You know
but what he's saying is for the past so 2014 through like 2017, wide receiver was gold. Wide receiver was everything. 2017 came in and you saw this
Todd Gurley ruined it.
Yeah, you had this huge shift. So you had Gurley in 2016, you had the huge Gurley in 2015, Zeke in 2016, the huge class in 2017, and everybody really valued running backs. So running backs were way up high. And now with that like fear, with that like in the back of the collective consciousness of Dynasty with Breece Hall going down, you're going to see wide receivers come back, and it's also part of that pendulum where you've had Chase and you've had Jefferson and you've had so yes, Breece Hall is part of this, but part of that's just that natural pendulum of the way we value things.
How much does your value on Breece change, by the way?
Doesn't.
Right?
I mean,
he's
that,
21
we were talking
right
about
now?
this on the Trade Addicts podcast very recently.
Which I just released, so people haven't heard yet.
Yeah, but we've been saying, like, I feel like what I said to you on that podcast, like, we found the exploit this offseason, talked about it constantly, but we couldn't figure out how to exploit it because the problem still exists. Young running backs are still young running backs, and Travis Etienne's going to get overvalued because we're going to think of him in that Zeke and that, and he's not that. He's just what we have right now. But Williams and Hall and Swift could be what Travis Etienne is or better right now, and they're the ones falling. So they tend to be the best values right now, but the running back has all this problem. And the thing I keep keeping in my head is what we said this offseason. We're waiting for the running backs. We're waiting for that 2000, and there will be a Zeke, and there will be a Gurley. Bijan Robinson sounds like it, but we're not there. And so just chasing all the good young running backs, it's not like we're waiting for them to become we're waiting for the class, if you know what I mean. So take the values where you can get them and best trades you can. Right now, running backs are less flexible. And I realize that's the worst verb to put on it, but it's what we like. They don't have the flexibility of a wide receivers during that era as Zach was just talking about. And that's where it shows. Like, wide receivers beat them in the flex at a higher rate than they typically do, especially through that period. They have less flexibility, but they still have relative positional advantage. So you're trying to buy young running backs for relative positional advantage, not that 24 points per game upside of that era. That's not coming from this era. That's not coming from these guys. So you take the cheap ones. If you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where the exploit is, but it seems to be everywhere. Anyway.
Yeah, that assumes to try and feel like you know what you're doing, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So
that's fair.
I just shiny new toys.
Well, but I think Breece Hall and this injury gives you a similar discount to what you saw with Saquon after his knee injury.
Except what you got to do is remember what happened with Saquon and buy Breece after he pulls his hamstring when he comes back from the ACL.
And then rolls his ankle.
Stay away from dude's feet after you heal from your high ankle sprain or hamstring pull, and don't step on guys' feet and grow an ankle on your ankle. Yes.
But this was a 20-minute way to say, Randy, we like that trade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Randy, we were well off your trade. It was a great trade. By the way, we probably should have stuck on that.
What were we talking about?
Keep doing you, man. You're doing good trades. I think I have 3 first non-playoff teams.
Fantastic.
Yep. Sammy has 10 teams through flex. Start 10. Have Josh Allen, Watson, Dak, who is the worst running back wide receiver you would trade Dak straight up for. What does a fair Dak for Chase trade look like? In a Superflex? Dak should get you Chase.
Dak for, I mean, you got to add, I mean, what, Dak and DJ Moore for Chase?
So you don't, that's it's a weird thing. Like, we talk about, Sammy has Dak, so he wants to do something with Dak. But what I've got to tell Sammy is now's not a great time to do anything with Dak. Like,
absolutely. I mean, that's the right answer.
Dak's a hold. If you can get Chase, then get Chase. But right now, I think you're adding to Dak to get Chase. That's not good. I think Dak should easily get Chase. I think
you are going to be adding to Dak to get Chase regardless of the day, time, or year.
And so I don't know. Dak's been on the field and he's back to being a top 5 quarterback, which he's done before twice.
I mean, Dak's probably what, like QB 8 or 9 at this point.
I don't know. He just got 8. He just got 8 up by the Lions. Not to be.
Hold on. Let's. Oh, this is one quarterback, so that's not. Hold on. Let me change this to Superflex.
In September, he was QB7.
I actually have it right in front of me. I could look. You
Um,
probably do.
Oh, why don't I just put it into the freaking analyzer? I'm such an idiot. Let's hold on. Because like
Let's
there's
just Chase goes now. Thinking more clearly, Chase goes before Dak in a startup draft. But simply, so you're right.
because I think let's Allen, Mahomes, probably Herbert, Lamar.
I'd go Lamar before Herbert.
I'm just listing the quarterbacks, not necessarily in order.
Kyler.
Kyler, I feel like Hurts has to push his way into that.
Yep.
And then I think we're talking Chase. I said Jace. Yes.
Chase is going 8th off the board.
Jefferson and Chase. Just going to be Jace from now on.
Right after Murray.
Jace. I like it.
All right. So I plugged them both into the analyzer. Dak Prescott worth 721. I apparently missed clicking Jamar Chase's name because he was on the bottom. Jamar Chase is 845. This was my original thought, was putting the difference of a second between the two of them. But that's why I went with a player, because the second didn't feel like it would get anything done.
Yeah.
So like this is
it depends what they feel like, if they are willing to value DJ more, but a lot of people aren't right now, But I think that's where I would send them a wide receiver so they feel like they're not losing that position. And
yes,
feel
exactly.
Like it's an outright win.
And
hey, Jameson Williams.
By the same token, you could do that with Jefferson. You could do that with Chase. I think you could look at CeeDee Lamb, and you might get something on top of Lamb to if you give Dak,
if you're outside of Chase and Jefferson, you're probably getting a plus on the wide receiver.
Yeah, and I don't mind doing that either
at all.
Yeah.
Or you know what? If you're competing, go get Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll get a plus on top of that.
Or Diggs.
Cooper Kupp's going to outscore Dak. It's fine.
He's thinking of trading Dak because in a Superflex he's got Watson, and that's what makes me like I don't want to abandon myself there.
It's so funny that I take things on such face value. I answer the question. I don't think to look at everything else. And you guys are like, maybe you shouldn't trade Dak because if you only have Watson, why don't you just do this part? I'm like, that's not the question. He asked what I should do with this player. Do this play. Yes, the smarter idea is to do that, but that's not what they asked.
Actually, I think the smarter idea, right? If you're talking about Chase's value range, that's right next to Kyler Murray. And I would go have two top 5 quarterbacks if I could instead of Chase.
I would.
If the same trade will get me Kyler Murray, I would get Kyler Murray.
What do you think about the difference in value between Watson and Dak right now? In the year of our Lord, the week of our Lord of football.
I think
talk about league specific.
I think in 2 weeks. Or 3 weeks, it's going to
get on the field.
It's going to be real close. You don't even have to let him get on the field. You just have to have people say, "Hey, week 11, he's coming back," and that will increase the value of Watson. So Sammy, hang on to Dak until Watson is coming back, and then float Watson as the trade piece and see if you can really go into the playoffs loaded for bear.
Outside of that, the answer to your question is I would look for a wide receiver on your team that you think is worth a second plus that they might like, and add that to Dak to get Chase if you just want Chase. And we should stop talking about your team because it's my team and I'm going to go get Chase. And that's fine, Sam.
Go to the Lamar Jackson owner and offer him Watson and Dak. And then run through the league with Jackson and Allen.
Literally.
Or Mahomes. Yeah.
Hurts is below that tier.
Yep.
Yeah, you might.
That'd be fun.
I did a video for the Dynasty Trade Calculator Discord about going and getting Hurts because there are still people talking like he's not going to be their quarterback next year, and that's ridiculous.
Nah,
I love him because no one else will. Dynasty Outhouse Truther, welcome back. Can you talk about the theory behind cascade trades? Russ, would you like to talk about
first
that idea that you came up with that you are asking yourself about?
Love the show. Drop a like, folks. I mean, it's really like the theory is really just no trade is your last trade. It's tough because when you write it out sometimes you feel bad about it. Like that first thing we talked about where with Lance to Mac to this to that, you're like, okay, so I just traded Lance for this. I mean, that was actually rather simple, just the 2-3 trades and calling it quits. But like, the theory is trading for value's sake, not necessarily in a direction of your team, and not necessarily for players you want on your team or like. It's just, I would trade for Juju Smith-Schuster in a league that Pete's in, because Peter likes Juju Smith-Schuster, and you might be able to get more than what you got him for by being able to then flip him, because Peter has player I like on his team, so I go get this player to be able to move him to Peter to get what I really wanted in the first place. Oh,
could we come up with some suggestions that don't just teach people how to rip me off? Could we have some other like, by the way, I get in a league with Pete, and here's how to exploit the shit out of him. Carry on.
Like, it is no secret the players I like. The amount of times I had to overpay for Calvin Ridley are just like. But like that's really the theory behind it is
cascading trades is taking advantage of the fact that your league mates feel differently about different players. So you can trade one player for one thing and then use that thing that someone else likes more to get even more, and so on and so forth.
And you don't even have to be trading for players that you like, as long as people value them. So yeah. It's to me, it's really the kid that was on, and I don't remember if it was Craigslist or eBay or Craigslist, the kid who had the paperclip. Yeah. And he traded the paperclip for something, and eventually he got a house. Like that's what Russ and cascading trades does, is he's not, every trade leads into another trade. And so when you make a trade, like for me, I make a trade and I'm like, all right, I did this. Look at this trade. It's like Tom Hanks when he makes The Fire. I made this, here's my trade. But Russ, it's not here's my trade. It's like, I made a trade. Where's the next trade? And it's,
I was gonna say,
it's brilliant. No, because if you continue to make trades, more often than not, he wins trades. Whether he wins trades, right off the bat, like more often than not, he wins trades, but it doesn't matter because he's going to make the next trade and win a little more, and eventually you build a great roster that way.
It's
sometimes he just rejects them outright and never comes back to the conversation. I was going to say,
you need to check your emails because you should have accepted the last trade offer I sent you, because it was literally what you asked me to send you, and then you come back at me asking for more. But
I did not. I had it.
When I first got into Dynasty, I actually found it like right as the season started. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to read articles, I'm going to listen to podcasts, and then I'll start it next year. And I really just wish I knew who this guy was. And it was the first person I ever heard of volume trading from, because I hadn't really played in Dynasty. And the reason I wanted Dynasty instead of redraft was because of trading. I love trading, and you can't really do it in redraft. Keeper like ups it a little bit, but still. And the theory was like, let's talk about percentages. You don't need to upgrade your team 100% on every single trade, because if you do 100 trades and win 1% every time, you're still at 100%.
A lot of little bottles make a big bottle.
But also, that makes you not afraid to go 2% backwards.
Yep.
Like, oh crap, I screwed this up. All right, well, let me just keep going. The only way to fix a bad trade is to make another trade. Like, I mean, that's really the theory, is if you just keep going, eventually you're going to get better. And it's fun.
I can talk about this for the next 3 hours,
my usual,
so you better
just change the question.
Pessimistic disclaimer: you've got to know who you are, because I'm the guy who starts off with a paperclip and ends up owing someone a town. Let alone, I don't end up with a house. I end up in debt one town. So you can get better at it theoretically, and it is a good thing to work up to. But sometimes it's not for you. Nolan Wild, 12-team Superflex, start 9, rebuilding. What is something you'd expect to try to get back in return for Deontay Johnson? Again, let me finish it. And A.J. Dillon. Are they just holds because of their current situations? That's like, I don't think it's a good time to sell Deontay Johnson. I think it's severely undervalued. And in your league, that means he's probably undervalued by the majority of people in your league. A.J. Dillon, too.
Oh my God. What a disappointment. Like, versus expectations he's been.
He's getting the volume. You're right, but in my head, I'm like, he's getting the volume. He's doing his job. It's fucking team's fault. That's where my head goes. Like, they're not getting to the red zone enough or whatever. But he's dominating the opportunity. In my mind, that's what I want my players to do. So I'm fine with. And in fact, A.J. Dillon is. A.J. Dillon's problem is Aaron Jones is really, really good.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want.
This far in, we just need to accept that.
Yeah. Like, if I could pull like Christian Kirk or Juju, maybe even Ayuk for Dillon, I'd be thrilled. I think.
Yep. Having said that, both of these are aging assets going into a slump, and so if you are true rebuilding, it is a good idea.
I missed the rebuilding part.
I mean, Juju's did too. That's why I'm pulling it back. It's like you hold on a Deontay Johnson, but if you really need to rebuild your team, there's no point feeling any way about the player. It's just like Russ was just saying, you get value, try and continually add value until you've earned the right to have a player opinion again.
Thoughts on just holding on to A.J. Dillon if you're rebuilding anyway? He's a young running back who's not scoring points, but I mean, Aaron Jones is going to be gone eventually, and like,
it's all
there's your sell window
at that point. Yeah.
I mean,
both of these should be more valuable later if you want to play that card, but it's what's the trade. I would actively shop them because of the situations they're in. What would I be looking for both? You want a first-round pick. You're losing on that deal this time next year. You're hoping you can get more out of that first-round pick than just selecting a player in the draft.
Deontay Johnson for ETN?
No,
I don't think that gets done.
Right now.
It's funny because Deontay Johnson's at 370 in the analyzer, and ETN's at 290. Well, ETN's value isn't going to stay the same.
No, he will come quite a bit up because
they still have Olave way down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're getting Olave.
That's the thing.
Johnson.
DLF lags behind a little bit because it's a more sensible platform. It's not going to tilt.
So here, this is what I'm doing.
For Devonta Smith in a second.
That's a good one. So I would have gone after St. Brown, but same idea, because St. Brown is in a
I still think
dip
you need
right
to
now.
add to Deontay.
I would add to Deontay to get St. Brown. That's fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Trade both of these for a wide receiver like that, young wide receiver that's perhaps undervalued. And again, the
Garrett Wilson
this year for me is trying to stuff that value somewhere it's got a little more security. Put it in the little lock safe of tight end, or put it in the lock safe of quarterback, because it's more likely you can trade that as well.
Yeah.
And even better, and also gives you points per game advantage if you are able to build around them some other way. So targeting those 5 quarterbacks or targeting the literal 2 tight ends that matter could be a method.
But I think
Kelsey's a little difficult in a build. But
I am more likely to trade Deontay Johnson right now than I am A.J. Dillon, because I think Deontay Johnson's in that like precarious. He's a little bit older. He came into the league a little bit older. And yes, he's been great. But Dillon's going to have that window next year where his value is going to go up, even if it's just perceived value, and you're going to be able to trade him for more. I'm not sure that Deontay Johnson's value rebounds.
I think it's a what the trade, but it does seem to me that if you put these together, you're likely to go fishing as a package. Even though you want to
guess Deontay Johnson was 26.
You're going to catch an owner who knows that, and also he's interested in points. And like, these are 2 proven things. Why would I want these 2 value things? And it's not unfair. You're just trying to catch a certain type of fish, and those together would make an interesting bait for that kind of fish. We've gone too far with the fishing metaphors in Dynasty. I'm drawing a line here. We've gone too far.
He's cutting bait.
But yeah, those are some thoughts, Nolan. Send out some trades that you would honestly feel comfortable with. See what you get back, and we're happy to talk about those too if it helps. But as always, the answer is go fishing and see what bites you get. Flowsaurus, save me from my fishing metaphors. 12-team Superflex, 1 point PPR. Start 9. Wilson Field. There are some of his players. He'll be 4-4 after week 8, 1 against worst team. Do I try to compete or sell ETN and possibly Swift to get assets? I'm going to my go-to answer on this kind of question right now. Count the number of players you would draft in the first 8 rounds of a starter. That'll tell you if you're building or need to do anything drastically about your value. That's my go-to right now. 4-4 could be anything. It's not your record. If you don't have access to all play because you're playing on a terrible platform like Sleeper or some shit, I don't know if
I just had 3 people quit on me today in multiple leagues because they don't like MFL anymore. Well, they can't stand MFL. And I'm like, why? So you can go play 6-year-old redraft on Sleeper? Like,
yeah.
But that's not an argument for now because it hurts my head and it's just making me sad that I have to replace people in week 8. Here's the thing.
MFL is trash, but the platform is the UI is trash. But like at least I can do the things and see the things I want to on it.
It's like, oh no, I have to learn to click 3 buttons, and it's not a bright smiley picture that's bouncing
instead
at me.
Of just, no, we don't do that.
I'm already a grumpy old man wearing a cardigan. I don't need to make it even worse.
Sleeper, trade up the week. Oh, sorry.
But it is such a hip happening cardigan.
That's the joke. If you can get top 15 quarterback value for Russell Wilson right now, like you're not getting a good value on Wilson. If you can get a first for Russell Wilson, I take it. Because even if you're worried about this season riding with what Fields is turning into, which is making me so happy, and Geno is good enough. I think you
sell that though.
Yeah, but you're not getting anything for Geno. And honestly, I believe in Fields, so I'd rather hold on to him because the past 2-3 games have been over 20 points, and he still doesn't have a wide receiver on his team.
Let me translate. I think this is taking the $400 instead of waiting till you expect that $700 to come along.
Oh,
if you're building, and I'm guessing from the players I'm seeing, he's more building than he's not before he runs the top 8 startup league thing.
Yeah, but I think Fields...
Take 4.
I want to hold on to Fields as my starting quarterback, even if he's only my second quarterback. I believe in Fields. That's why I push past that, because I don't think you're getting enough value for him.
I was disagreeing. So now we know
what
we
do that every once in a while.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I've been looking forward to this time, Russ.
We would validate the people that think we're the same person if we always agreed.
We are.
Wait, Zach is about to say something.
Yeah, but to me, Flowosaurus, the question, do I try to compete or sell? How are you going to compete if you don't have 23 or 24 first to trade for things to make you competitive? So I think there's your answer right there.
Well, if his team is good enough now, and
they're not, they're 4-4.
Doesn't tell you too much.
But that doesn't mean anything.
I mean, I guess not.
That's why I was saying count how many. Like, if those are your quarterbacks, but you've got Chase and Jefferson that you're forgetting to start for some reason, or Diggs, then yeah. But you really have to assess your situation. If 4-4 is fair, then you're selling.
Right.
Yeah. If you are, I'll just spell it out. If you're on MFL reports, standings, power rank, that will give you a lot of ways to look at your actual standings in the league and not just your record, because we all know variance plays into it so much.
And if you
can get top 5 value for ETN, you do that.
If you're not on MFL, go look at total points for and total points against. And if your total points for is low, then you're probably not great.
That's a very simplistic way. Yeah, fair enough.
This is a better year for trying to win
on MFL
than trying to lose. And where you have no first already and you're already 4-4, I feel like you're in a strongly sucky position. Just a guess. You're trying to sell, and I think you're going to find it a very hard road to do it. So I would start selling. Yeah. Just a guess. We can't see your roster. We can't see your all play, but I feel pretty strongly.
But I'm here to tell you,
you can get first back with ETN. You can get first back with Fields, and it's time. I think
you can win with those quarterbacks, though.
Yeah,
you can, but you would have to trade into a definite rebuild you still might miss. Like you could go and get. I think you can get Jacobs for ETN and Dynasty. Both team, if he's on a winning or a losing team, ETN's a tempting piece, and Jacobs is going to outscore him. You might get a plus, that type of thing. But it's a really narrow path to building this year. And if you go for build this year and don't hit it, then you're definitely in a full rebuild, which is possible. It's just where the points are this year. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Oh, cool. Because I thought I was making no sense whatsoever. I'll be honest with you. I thought I'd stop making sense. No, I honestly. Flowsaurus, I think you found him. Stickman87, 10 teams through flex, start 9, a half-point PPR. As a contender, what would you pay for Mixon? What do I have to pay for Mixon?
I don't want to give
first. 23 first.
23 first plus what?
Nothing. I don't want to give a first for Mixon.
That owner's in this difficult situation that I was just trying to reference Flowsaurus. He wants a first, and that's ultimately fair, but it's not that fair this year. Yeah. So he has to suck it up and build for what this year is, or he's going to keep Mixon and hurt his draft position, I guess. Don't trade a 23 first for him, unless you feel very strongly. If it's a back end first, maybe, but even then, you can do more with the back end first right now to other teams in your league than you can with Mixon.
Mixon isn't bad, but like he's points per game running back 16 right now.
Yes, but he's also, we've talked about Mixon as being a guy who's been underperforming his expected points.
So,
which is what I was saying about AJ Dillon, and you were like, I want my running backs to perform, but okay, whatever.
No, yes, he's
he's the most.
Let's count the number of times AJ Dillon has been in the top 10. Okay, we're done. Now we can do Mixon, and he has been there before, Peter. People who have been there before have a better chance of repeating. So I trust Mixon's inefficiency more than I trust AJ Dillon's inefficiency.
Just wondering, actually, this year, how many times has he been in the top 12? Because if we're talking this year points, that matters to me.
Who, Mixon?
Yeah. Because I know, like, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a couple weeks ago, I was checking out, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had been in the top 12 as many times as, like, the top 3 or 4 running backs, and we were arguing about it.
Mixon has not been in the top 12 this season so far.
That's what I was going to, yeah. Not a lot of running backs are doing that right now. But point taken. I would follow the volume.
He wasn't in the top 12 in week 1. He had 27 points.
No, he wasn't. Week 6, he was running back 11. That's it.
It's rough.
Oh, sorry. No, week 1, he was QB. He was running back 8. My bad.
Yeah, I was going to say he had a real good week 1.
21.5. Yeah.
Stickman 87. As we do, we're going to go an aside from your question and start speculating about possible other moves. The Mixon owner doesn't seem. No, I wouldn't do that. But a first can get you a lot of things. And if you want a running back, I think there are running backs you can get right now. I'd be more interested in for that first. For this year and moving forward, Josh Jacobs again comes to mind. If Josh Jacobs is on the right team, a first might sound tempting. But probably not after the 3-touchdown game last week. So who else? Who else could you get for a first if the Mixon owner, if that's where the value's at? Is there any running back you would trade a first for? Because that's what Stickman needs.
Is Dameon Pierce going to be the running back next year? Like, if there's
a good name for
this next year, the answer is Dameon Pierce.
I think he and Walker,
I got to be honest. Somebody tried to give me Dameon Pierce for a first, and I turned.
Oh, I wouldn't do it personally, but I think it's the right answer.
But if you're interested in this year especially, I mean, I know why you wouldn't, but you get the points and that depleted value in August. I think that makes it closer than Mixon, at least.
I always want to trade for Austin Eckler, but I don't.
That's bad.
That's what I would do. It's what I just did. Like Austin Eckler is that guy because he's old enough that people are like, his value's not high. He's also the running back 1 in PPR right now by 37 points.
Yeah, by 2.7 points.
Yeah.
I mean, see how the Saquon owner's feeling. Derrick Henry is always also a good answer.
About 68% of running backs is the highest across all the positions. At this point in the season, if they rank in the top 12, they're going to finish in the top 12. Yeah. So you can trust those ranks a little bit more as well. I think he's going to finish there. So I would go look at your league, and I understand why he would want a first. That's not the guy I'm trying to buy for a first. So see if there's anyone on the bottom 5 teams with one of those older running backs or that's in this rank that would accept a first you would rather trade for. And I would look at the rest of my league before I tried to move forward with this trade. That would be my idea. Outside of that, if he has to have a first, you're going to ask for a plus. He might undervalue or be able to add on. Oh, God. I can't think of anyone that would make up that tiny a value difference that would actually be better. David Bell.
He had a nice block this week.
Yeah, he's going to be a great blocker. Hopkins, he's a win now piece who's probably going to put up.
He did way too well that first week to be that.
Yeah.
I got him for a second before that week, and then I MFL'd it. I like set my lineup and didn't click set my lineup, and so he wasn't in my lineup and scored 20 points on my bench.
Been there.
That's beautiful.
Next question, because we're taking too long. We got to catch up.
Sorry. Back to Flowsaurus, I should say my last 3 teams to make it into the playoffs were also 4-4. Me, 4, 5, 6. And my team outside my all for QBs is solid. Okay, so that does affect how hard I would sell or not sell. Like, again, if you have like 5 top 3-round players, and I ain't selling. I'm just trying to play as best I can without giving up too much value. I would sell ETN them. Brendan. Yeah, Brendan. Yeah, Gino on a 24 second for a 24 first. I think Gino is
but the question doesn't make sense. Why would you take a 25 second if you 24. Can get a 24 first?
Yeah.
I mean, or if it's the other way around, of course I'd rather send a 25 second instead of a 24 first.
Gino straight up for 2 seconds, or Gino and a second for a first?
Depends on which side
the second one's just a no. I don't want 2 seconds for a very decent start quarterback in Superflex. I'm assuming this year. Second one's interesting. He would just be tearing up his second round pick to a first round pick. If you're not winning, I get it. I kind of feel like Gino keeps that job for next year, though. Like, that's very Seahawks. But his value won't bump much, but it might hold. Anyway, I think Gino straight up for a first is probably where I'm at in his value. 24 is a little far away for that, honestly. You're not going to get a 23 third. So I feel like neither of these trades. The first one, you shouldn't have to add a second, and the second one just isn't. It isn't right.
I would add a second to turn it into a first.
I think that's closest. That's the best one you got here. Yeah. And again, if you're hard selling, just hard sell, man. It's fine. Like Russ was saying, you can go down a couple percent if you're trading to trade to build value. So I understand it. Greens Point Gridiron.
You're just going to skip the y'all trading Walker for St. Brown?
That's after this one. No?
Okay. Not on mine, but
I can no. We'll go with your screen. Your screen's normally more accurate. You're still trading Walker for Amon. I mean, I'd rather have Amon Ra.
Yeah. But I'm trading it for Amon Ra St. Brown Plus now.
Yeah, now that
now I'm more. Greens Point Gridiron, 10 teams, full PPR. Am I crazy for trying to desperately trade away Swift?
Nope.
For an equal wide? No, it's running back. I think that's a solid formula if you can do it. My 2 running backs would be Dylan, Herbert, Eno, Kyron, maybe.
Gus.
And Gus.
Your running back will be Gus.
I mean, yeah, if you have to start Gus and Eno right now, you're fine. And then when Kyron Williams comes back, they want him to be part of the team. So,
I think so.
Like, PPR, baby. So, and with those at least top 3 wide receivers in a 10-team league, just, trade Swift. Go
I wouldn't say I'd be desperate. I'm pretty happy to hold Swift into August if I have to. But if I can do that for an equal level of value wide receiver in Dynasty, you do that because majority of Dynasty players are going to act that way about the two positions. Greens Point Gridiron again, 10-team 1 PPR. Am I crazy for desperately trying to trade away Swift? That's the same one. Maybe that's what happened. You were looking at the second one, and I was looking at the first one. Calvin Hobby, heard of him. I know that guy. Wait, I know that guy. That's the Calvin Hobby. Breece Hall or Jalen Waddle? Jalen Waddle.
Now,
very easily. Count just literally sent me a trade involving both players. I had to check, like DLF, keep trade cut. No, I am now no longer the highest on Jalen Waddle, but I was up until last week. I don't know what happened. I think Ryan's right. The running back value fell drastically because of Breece Hall. But I was there a couple of weeks ago. Benjamin Paul, 12-team Superflex PPR, Juju or AJ Dillon? AJ Dillon, right? That's got to be AJ Dillon.
Yeah, I would pick Juju.
No one needs to ask me.
I think that I'm taking AJ Dillon with the idea that I'm going to be able to flip him for more than Juju going forward. Like if I'm scoring this year, it's Juju. But if I'm looking to trade, like I really think that Juju has hurt enough people. It's that psychology. I think enough people have seen Juju go from wide receiver 1 to 1 wide receiver. And so like I really think you're going to see that bump with AJ Dillon at the beginning of next year. So that's where I would go with that, Benjamin.
But Juju coming off of a 22 and 25 point week.
I mean, fine. That's what I'm saying. Like right now, I would rather have Juju if it's a point scoring question. So Russ, when I think of value, I know we've had this conversation, but there are 3 different types, and so it depends on where we're at with your team. Like I think that this year, I would definitely rather have Juju. If I'm scoring points, I'd rather have Juju. If I'm rebuilding, if I'm looking to the future, I do think I'm going to be able to get more for AJ Dillon than I would for Juju, even coming off those 2 20-point weeks. Because this is a conversation right now. Juju for AJ Dillon. Well, it's never a conversation for you, Peter. You adopted Juju 2 years ago, like sending him care packages. Like
put him into Marcus Brown, both the same age.
Yeah.
I still want Marcus Brown. This is not a debate.
Zach,
a top 24 running back for a top 24, even if we value him there wide receiver, I want a wide receiver.
Zach, what's the difference in value between Marquise Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster?
I have no idea.
What's the value of Tyler Lockett right now, Zach?
Yeah.
Nothing, according to some people that might be around here. Michael, are you still high on Dub? Have we been high on Dubs? It feels
no,
like
but we said Adam for nothing at the beginning of the year because
we said we liked him. That's not
I remember
as being high on him.
As someone who undrafted free agents matter, I literally argued against him to Jacob Rickrod's face with Zach. I feel like that's not being too high. He had that one good week, and then I wrote him up the next 2 weeks saying, it's dropping off. I don't think that.
But yes, sell him for a second. Like I'd do that for a 24-second.
Yeah,
I do that.
And the third isn't worth it, but the second maybe.
Yep.
In the right situation. Chris Olave is it this year, guys. It's another Tyler Boyd year. I swear this is so 2019. Index trade Brian Robinson for a 24-second and a 23-third.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, a question we just said yes to. Yes or no? Like a traditional Dynasty podcast. Anyway, wait 1 second. What if you have Michael Carter? Let's invent a hypothetical. Rashad Brooks, would you do Waddle for a late 23? No. And as 23
I would
no.
keep Waddle.
I would keep Waddle also. Benjamin, inbox trade. That's always nice, isn't it? When you just get an offer, you don't have to bleed for weeks to try and get one. Wouldn't know. Inbox trade, 10-team Superflex PPR 1.5 tight end premium, start 9. He's a rebuilding team. He was offered a late 23 first and second for Burks for T. Higgins. Seems a little low. Going to offer T to another team for a late first and a lot. If you can get a first and a Olave, you do that.
First. Yeah.
I tried. I offered Higgins for Waddle and 2 seconds, and I got rejected because I went out to see how many Olave shares I can get. Like I went to every single league that I don't have him in, which is more than I would like it to be, and it didn't go well for me.
Is that where that Olave trade came from, Russ?
Some of them were uninspired, yes. Like it's funny, like in Trade Addict 6, Bill Latin has him, and he replies to me. He's like, "I don't really like anything you're offering me," and I'm like, "Honestly, neither did I." But I told myself I would do it in every league, and this was the best I could come up with.
Sorry, that wasn't supposed to be trade. That was supposed to be trade bait. That was supposed to be.
It wasn't that bad, but it was not a good offer. Like the value was clearly compiled over Olave's value, but it was compiled. It was not good.
I always feel compelled to write in the trade comments when I do that. Like I know, but I just wanted to send one.
Always no, because
I wanted to try. I didn't want to leave thinking I hadn't tried. So here you go. I sent one to Cal actually, this week. I'm sorry, but this is the best I've got. 12-team Superflex for Sean. Kyler and Damian Pierce, or Breece and the 23 first, Matt Jones, contender.
I don't know how to feel.
I think it's Kyler.
And we're going to get another question about Kyler coming up later, but what do you guys think of Kyler right now? Like, I feel weirdly down on him when I was weirdly high on him when people were down on him before the season started. Like,
why don't you just zig him while people zag, Russ? What can I say?
It drives me crazy because I feel like I'm wrong for some reason. But like, we haven't seen a ceiling out of him.
I still have Kyler above Joe Burrow, and that's opposite of what's happening this season. I mean, I think I like it.
Burrow's touchdowns have to stop at some point.
But they did for a while after last year, and now they're going back up again. When you've got Tyler Boyd, okay, you can't help but put up a little bit of a high touchdown rate.
50 something, like was it like a 50-yard touchdown on Sunday? It's fine. Yeah, that's what happens.
I mean, when you got that level of stud. But
I
like Kyler a lot.
Kyler's been objectively bad for Kyler, and is still the quarterback 6.
But that's
like I'm okay
how
with.
Behind is that? It's still like he's at like 19 points per game as opposed to 25, 26 everyone else is.
That is him being objectively bad for Kyler, but he's still good for a quarterback. Where's Mac Jones? Do you think?
No, I don't think this is a good trade. Don't get me wrong.
I would rather have Kyler and Pierce. Yeah.
I was just taking it to the side because I was just curious. Yeah. Like even me feeling weirdly down on Kyler, this is still easily Kyler.
But I mean, like weirdly down on Kyler, like he's still a top. Like he was never at the top of the top 5 quarterbacks, but he was one of those top 5 quarterbacks. So he's
not over 20 points per game, but he's still quarterback 6 right now.
Yeah,
and I mean maybe my expectations were too high. Maybe that's just what it is.
Well, I mean,
I don't think so. I think it was reasonable to have. Wait till we get Tyler Boyd. No, I think it's fair to be disappointed. We expected more. I think he should have done more. He's having Zach says it's objectionably bad. Objectively bad.
It's like Herbert. Like Herbert's not having a great year.
That's fair.
But it's a bad offensive line. Like they're struggling.
It's Keenan insert.
I tell you what it reminds me of. Earlier this season, someone was saying, "Hey, Jared Goff, maybe," and I was like, "No," and they took it seriously because I'm talking. So obviously, we have to start attacking, and they were listing his points, and I was like, "Yeah, just think about that. Does that feel real?" And he's put up like 5 points over the last 2 weeks. Sometimes it's okay to just know that Jared Goff isn't a 20 points a week player. It's okay to know that Kyler and Herbert are better than what they're currently doing and not tilt too hard on it. We've seen enough to know. And also, I like the fact that Kyler's got the short bias. Like, that's going to come up again. Too short. That's what's going on here. It's too short. And I think there's going to be a better window on Kyler later.
I love the video
I'm
game
actually
narrative,
I'm actually interested in
Call of
seeing
Duty.
that. But for right, yeah, Sean, sorry. Thanks for the kickoff, but we already went past your trade there. I keep Kyle and Damien Pierce right there. Jay Casp, 12 team, 1 PPR, 1 QB. There you go. Kenneth Walker for a late first and Jefferson. Yes. Justin Jefferson, please. Greens Point, 10 team, 1 point PPR. Am I crazy for desperately trying to trade away? We went through this one, right?
Yeah, I think it's
another guy.
The third time we've gotten this one.
Desperately trying to. Yeah, sorry, we get to things slowly. He sent it at an hour ago, to be fair. So, yeah. Jake Cass, 12 team, 1. I feel like I'm in a simulation. Cypher, 10 team PPR Dynasty. Would you trade AJ Brown, Mills, Nico for Daniel Jones, Goddard, and Mixon? No.
The more I read it, the
I
more
would do it.
All I
would
see is
say
AJ
no.
Brown.
AJ Brown for Goddard and Mixon.
Yeah.
No.
I would have that disappointed in my child energy as I told them, just so they really feel it, but you don't have to say anything. Just no. Make sure they feel that energy because they need to. It's just AJ Brown in that trade all by himself. Bob Gilchrist, when you're hanging out with friends, chatting about football prevents burnout. I would have nothing to do with it. Do if it wasn't for this show. Oh, thanks, Bob. Thanks very much. You can come on now and again, but whatever. It's fine. Sheesh. Started Otten over Pitts last week. Woo! Started Ingram over Pitts last week just for the lulz. Yeah, it's rough. We're just other people will value him though, and that is true.
Other people do value him. Bob, look, it's Bob.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to not see the point, to be honest with you. So, Flow Source, elbow cough. Yes. Corey Walters, is Stafford Taylor H? Heineke. Thank you. Ritter and a 23 first.
No.
Patrick Mahomes. Not even. No.
You need about 9 more backup quarterbacks and then 3 more firsts.
Yep.
And it has to be a really deep league where they matter. No. It's a bunch of dimes. It's like a dollar worth of dimes for $100. That's why it's
but
bad.
if you weigh them, the dimes weigh way more.
Cypher, Breece Hall clean ACL tear should be back as good as new in 2023. Dobbins and Javonte unfortunately had more damage. Breece value should remain high.
But it won't.
Those are very separate things. Yes, Breece's tear was cleaner than Dobbins and Javonte, but it's week 7 or week 8 when he got hurt. And very rare at this point do players not come back and hamper themselves in some way, shape, or form. If he's ready to start week 1, I still don't think he's ready to start week 1.
I think by August we're expecting all of them to be back in 2023, but this is weighting strongly into clean versus unclean versus I'm not a doctor. I read the same things you will, Cypher, and a lot of those people get it right a lot of the time.
Well, it's
all of them will also tell you I am not that person's doctor.
Breece Hall only tore his ACL. Dobbins and Javonte tore more ligament than just the ACL is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So there's less to heal and less to fix.
I just feel like medicine is complicated enough that having more to fix can sometimes work out better than having less to fix. I don't know. What I do know is they'll probably all be back at some point. They'll go through a value drop of some sort. And all were co-opting more than enough volume to be relevant, and they will be again. And so the value dip will be... What do we call that? It's not maybe a boat. It's not... It's a workout video trope, right? Eventually there'll be a workout video and the value will come back up. And we know we're all going to do it, but in the meantime, we'll be like, oh, I guess I'll fade them. So just don't hold a higher value than the rest, I guess. But it is awkward to buy Dynasty running backs. Skull Dynasty, 1 QB, start 8. QB Cousins, Swift, Dobbins, Pollard. Okay, that's his team. Jefferson, Hunt, Deontay, Sutton. Have projected 101 and 102 in 2023. I am 4-3. Do I stand pat? So he wants to know basically how he should view his team moving forward for this year.
Find the Breece Hall manager, see if they're competing. If they are, sell them Swift for Hall plus. Start 8 makes this different. Like, it'd start like 10, I'd be a lot happier with this team, but start 8, seriously, like, go.
This would be a good... I think this is also a good time for you to maybe mention what you've been doing with quarterbacks, right?
QB. That's and I feel really vindicated because I saw Adam Harstead say this, and he's brilliant. And so if I have said something that has also come out of his mouth, I feel good about it. But in one quarterback leagues, quarterbacks are supremely undervalued, and getting one of those Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson makes a huge difference year over year over year. And so, like, JJ Zacharyson came out with the late round QB. Brilliant. Especially in Superflex and especially in redraft. Because you don't necessarily need the top quarterback to win a league, and you can make up for it by drafting other players at other positions that give you positional advantage. In Dynasty, in one quarterback, because it's one quarterback, quarterbacks get undervalued. But you also get the value of one of those top quarterbacks year over year over year over year, and it's a positional advantage. And so that Skull is where I would start.
There's a lot of advantages to it. There's Andrew Luck and RG3 being the exceptions to the quarterback rule, whereas at running back and even at wide receiver, it's a lot more common to lose a player for a significant period of time, if not forever. I think it's a sharp edge. Something else to explore.
That's what I do.
As your team, I'm gathering from my colleagues. You're selling. You start to look for value over looking for 20, 22 points.
I mean, especially when you have the 101 and 102, and you're going to walk into Bijan and probably Smith and Jigbo, or like either the wide receiver 1 or the running back 2. I wouldn't. Besides Justin Jefferson, I would move all of it.
Mooney and Moore are the only two that I don't think you'll... I think I'm holding those, not because of the best two players, but I expect opposite value trends.
I'm not trading Andrews.
I'm not trading Andrews and Jefferson for the opposite reason.
Well, I don't know. Andrews had 0 catches and 1 rush for 4 yards. He sucks.
It was tight end, National Tight End Day. He had the day off. Don't worry about it. It's a holiday.
So many times. Oh, look, a white tight end caught the... Who's number 86? How did Todd Heap get back in the league?
Should I sell Gabe? Yes. What should I aim to get for him? I mean, honestly, this week, probably not. You got to wait until next week when he puts up another 80-yard touchdown.
It was a bye week, at least. Like, here's my thing. You have a really good wide receiver core.
Yeah.
Having Gabe Davis as that low of a wide receiver is good on your team because he's not going to get 3 points, but he also has the ability to put up 23 every single game. So
especially this year and last year, wide receivers are even more flexible. So yeah.
If there's that Gabe Davis person in your league and you can get like a first or first plus somehow for him, go sell. Yeah. But like, don't sell just to sell when he fits in the right place in your team.
I was going to say, this is a good point to mention. We normally talk about sell high and buy low, and everyone jokes about selling good players the minute they have a good game. And the ultimate goal here, unless your team sucks and you're building, which is a very specific dynasty problem that we talk about, like every team's meant to be doing it, you're trying to increase your points per game output. That's what you're trying to do with this team. So you don't sell Gabe Davis anything that doesn't achieve that goal. And as Russ said, he does a lot for your points per game output. So unless you're significantly improving your quarterback points per game expectation 3 points, like you're moving from, I don't know, Trevor Lawrence to one of those top 5 quarterbacks that we were talking about, or you're moving from Noah Fant to the streaming role tight ends to Mark Andrews, then you don't do it because he's doing enough for your points per game output by himself. I think that's another way of looking at this, especially when you have such a good wide receiver core that I don't think you're desperate for value or anything. So just think about it in terms of, does it do more for me on a weekly basis? And that's a hard sell in for Gabe Davis, because he can, like Russ says, he can put you up 50 in 1 week and 0 in the other, but he can put you up 50 in 1 week, and that matters. Graphics 13 misread my question. It was 2 trades. Did I? I apologize. I'm looking for it. I'm not just staring at you guys. So.
Yeah, I was about to say, no, I'm not going to remember. Yeah.
No, we knew it was 2 trades.
Yeah. Eventually,
but you started with Trey Lance and ended with.
So you pretty much traded Trey Lance, Alan Lazard, and Deonta Foreman for Jameson Williams, and a third.
Right. That's what we said.
Lance went to Mac Jones and then flipped Mac for that package. So yeah.
I mean, I think we're reading that right in the end anyway.
Yes.
Hopefully. I do struggle with basic things, so it's possible. Firefox, would you trade the 102 for
Peter's like, wait, do I trust myself that I'm reading this word twice and it's the right thing to do?
I do not. Appreciate you. Kyle Pitts the 102. I don't think so. Personally, I expect there to be a lot of hype around this class, even more so. And there's at least 2 running backs in this class I know while actively trying not to know them. That's how hard that I think are going to be worth more.
Well,
before you get to wide receivers, and this is Superflex, there are quarterbacks there. I don't like that.
I honestly, I can't imagine what I would trade the 101 and 102 for. The only thing I would trade them for is if I could turn them into Josh Allen in a Superflex league. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother, because the way these values are getting, like, again, Bijan's the running back 1. He's going to be a first-round startup pick in a Superflex league.
Jefferson, Chase,
depending where, yeah, like that.
It's up there. I get what you're saying.
If Stroud or Young fall to the right place, which I'm not completely sure what that is right now. Like maybe Atlanta with Pitts and London, like they might get high up there, because the guys we had at the end of the first, Russell Wilson, Trey Lance, like Aaron Rodgers, these guys aren't going to be there anymore. So that might just artificially raise the value of those 2 young guys up there. In which case, if it's not a first round startup player, I don't think I'm trading the 101 and 102. And yes, Pitts was that a few months ago, but I mean, he's not now.
If a top 5 pick in a draft class is ever worth anything that you want, it's this draft class. I've seen hype draft classes before. 2021 was it. And 2023 is more than that. Right or wrong, you should be able to pick your trade. If Kyle Pitts is it for you, fine. But I think you can ask for a plus if you don't feel comfortable, because it's that's how high the value is.
Yep.
Yeah. Zach, did you?
I hate taking tight ends in the first round of rookie drafts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm what?
So you're not going to spend the 102.
So I'm not going to spend the 102 on a tight end. And again, the one tight end in the last few years that was worth spending the first round rookie pick on,
George Kittle,
was Pitts, because you could turn around and sell him for more than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not because you believed in the player, but because everybody else was hyping him up so much. And I understand that Arthur Smith is the worst football coach in the world, and they're 4-3 because they're running the ball. So he's keeping his job. Like I get all that, and I get everybody wanted Kyle Pitts to come in and be Kittle, Kelsey, and Andrews all wrapped in Evan Ingram's body, but he is not.
It's so fun to watch.
I will agree with that value, but while also saying, but I am not that guy. I can't draft players or trade for players because I know other people will trade for them because I don't. Again, I'm the guy who ends up owing somehow. And so I'll agree with it. If they're on my roster for some way, I will treat them that way, but I'm really buying in because you have to be able to get that value out of them, and I don't trust myself.
Pete,
and then I just look at tight end and like, how many of the great tight ends were expected? Travis Kelce kind of was, but it took too long. Mark Andrews kind of wasn't, but some of us, especially if we looked at anything about their college, knew that he could. Like, none of them were expected. Like, if Rob Gronkowski and Jimmy Graham really weren't treated this way until it was known.
Well, I mean, Gronk only fell because of back injuries, and Kelsey was, I feel.
Kelsey had a knee injury his rookie year.
Yeah.
Like, that's.
And it was there. The hype was there for Kelsey. And it was there for Eric Ebron, too.
Mm-hmm. But there are so few. There are just so few. I can't tell you. So, I'm accepting the value, but also saying with my teams, you'll rarely see me add that type of value because I know I can. Because
Peter,
it's how you play.
You need to listen to Dynasty to the Trade Addicts podcast.
Oh yeah,
maybe this week.
Yeah.
But no, but right. That's how you get. I got better at trading by listening to Russ and also listening to Dynasty Trades HQ and Shane and like that. That's what I did was I listened to other people. I watched smart people in my leagues like Russ, like J Mike, who make moves. Not Kyle. Kyle, you don't want to make moves like Kyle, but
never be like Kyle. No.
That makes a difference.
I don't think you understand how far down I'm starting. I've been doing that for a while, and they have managed to elevate me up into a terrible trader. See, that's the difference. I start out so bad that the best
so much lower
can get me is to just bad. You see what I mean? Like that. I'm just recognizing that about myself.
Why don't you check?
I'm bad at Spanish. The best teacher in the world could probably get me able to order from a menu, but they'll never get me through it.
So check your email and let's see how good of a trader you've turned into.
12-team Superflex tight end premium, start 10. Traded Cortland Sutton and a mid-23 third and 6th for Donovan Peoples-Jones and a mid-24 first, 23
so you traded
second.
Sutton for a first and a second. I think that's a pretty big win.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big win, but I think it's a win. I'd rather have the first. But not I don't think it's a huge win. But yes, that's a win, Rambo. You drew first blood. It was right there. Sorry,
I didn't get there fast enough. I was right there to think of the joke, and you beat me to it. Not surprising.
Whenever I see a trade that's got just something I don't value in, I'm always like, okay, keep this and give me whatever you think that value is. Because like Donovan Peoples-Jones in there makes me think you should have got more. Like he was offering more, but Donovan Peoples-Jones should be I don't want that. So give me another third or a second. But
Cascade that trade, Peter. Cascade. Just trade Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Someone with injuries and bye weeks will take Donovan Peoples-Jones for a third.
But breaking it down like that, a first and a second for Sutton is right. Bob Gilchrist, hey guys, long time listener, first time caller. Just added an orphan team to my adoption fills your
Remember that time
heart.
I told you I had 3 people drop out on me?
Yeah. But nevertheless, I am trying to move Kyler. It helps if you write in English, Bob. Kyler, what should I be looking for?
That's a Boston accent. Don't worry about that.
I will hang up and listen. Three. I think he's in the 3 first value conversation. So just keep Kyler Murray, man.
Russ says not in that league.
Well, I'm heavy rebuilding in this league, and he came at me for 101 plus, and I'm not even giving up the 101 for Kyler right now.
I would.
And he wanted a first and a late, and I'm just like, especially in my level of a rebuild. Well, first of all, my level of rebuild, I'm not giving up my first. It just doesn't make sense. But
right.
I just no, if you like, I would probably aim for 2 mids because I think that's the better chance you get.
I'd rather have Kyler than 2 mid first, though. Kyler's still going to be a top 6 quarterback next year.
Oh, okay. The person owning those first gets to decide in your league. That's the unfortunate nature of the water we play
teams in that league, of course,
which just means you can't get it.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to change your sites to something that you can get, but at that value level.
This year seems like more that there's 3. I have in a bunch of the Trade Addicts leagues, there's 3 teams that have like 0 or 1 wins, and then the rest of the league is 4 and 2. Like, it's a very weird, like in Trade Addicts 2, I have a very good team, but I kind of want to try and make some moves because I'm bored. And there are no teams that have good players that are losing.
Because man, the players are in the wrong place to do a lot of different trades. I really feel. But, pardon me, I am 0 and 7 in my Trade Addicts league. Successful tank.
I successfully tanked for 2 years in that league, and I'm in 3rd place now.
I successfully traded for my pick back well after that was obvious, though. So not exactly successful. More the leagues let me have it.
You can go and get another first if you.
No, I got my own eventually, but it was a gift from the league. Though, like, you are so bad, we're gonna let you have it.
Well, you can get a 24.
Let me trade for it back.
By checking your inbox right now.
Yeah. The last time this era of value happened, the one I keep referring to, this was happened before. That's how I know about it, because I drafted this team, got into this league around about that time, and went with typical dynasty strategy, and it's just been ass for 2. That's the danger of this era. Like, that team's been rebuilding for 2 years now. Where was I? Gavin, 12-team Superflex start 10. Ooh. 0.5 PPR. Been making some contender moves. Lost Hollywood, unfortunate. Worried about Andrew's injury.
I don't think there's anything long term.
I don't think there's. No.
I don't think he's supposed to miss it. He's resting because they're playing Thursday. That's what I read, at least.
Yeah. Give too late 23 seconds top scorers and 24 seconds.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Pretty much traded 2 seconds for Hopkins, Gesicki, and Hunt. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's fair. Gavin, still have my first and second 2 seconds in each of those 2 drafts.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's a good move.
Nick, is Pickens going to eventually outproduce Deontay Johnson and become the wide receiver 1 in Pittsburgh?
No, next year, probably.
Okay. I like Pickens a lot, and I think he is worth trading for as someone who will be a startable wide receiver. I think Deontay Johnson's going to be the wide receiver 1 in Pittsburgh. I like volume. Some people like points.
Okay, how about this? Pickens will be the X receiver. But you're hoping for someone who will. I don't know. I got nothing. I think there's a specific quarterback that uses the Jarvis Landry's, Deontay Johnson's.
But Deontay Johnson is not Jarvis Landry.
But that's what that's what they want to use him as.
But that's what they have played him as, because they have other players that have been out on the outside stretching. But Deontay Johnson, in college and when he came into the league, was not a slot receiver. He is a downfield threat. He is a versatile receiver, whether Pittsburgh has used him that way or not.
To be fair, Golden Tate, same.
Exactly.
It was outside in college.
Thing. Yep. But I was outside in his first 3 years in the NFL until he ended up in Detroit.
Well, it's also because he was on the outside in Seattle, where they don't know how to use outside wide receivers. But then you end up on a team with Megatron, and you don't get to go outside anymore.
You stay inside and play with your toys, Golden State. Yeah. Did I skip one there? Yes, I must have. Right? Yeah. 12-team Superflex half-point PPR. Start 10. Traded Devontae Adams and Godwin. Hopefully, there's a lot coming on the other side. 24 first. And a 24 first. He's 5-2 and felt like it was the right move for getting it. What did he get?
He traded Adams.
Adams for Godwin. Yeah. Oh, thank God. I thought they were both on the same. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Godwin has top 12 upside, as Zach proved once, I believe. And getting the first is nice. Mr. Homan. 4-3 right now. 12-team Superflex have good quarterbacks, wide receivers, and Mark Andrews. That sounds nice. Only thing is my running backs left are AJ Dillon and Ramondre. Actually, you're fine with Ramondre.
Ramondre is running back 12 right now, I think. Points per game.
Also, you have 3 first. Do I trade for a running? I don't think so this year.
If you're gonna spend your first, you wait until the last second. Don't
See
do it now.
which older running back in the top 5 you can get, or emerging running back that's discounted for some reason. Where's your trade deadline is the real question here. Because right now you should be coasting to the playoffs at least, so you have a little time to let any unfortunate incidents that are going to happen before you try and make any trades happen. Baker Kid 2, 10-team 1 QB, non-contending. Brandon Cooks 23 second and third for Hollywood. I'm looking to see if there's a addendum there.
What's
that last?
Who? Hollywood who?
I guess. I want Hollywood in this deal.
Yeah, same.
Especially
assuming that's what the real end of question is, then yes, the answer is I would send that for Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Rob Z, I lost Devontae and Breece, still have ETN. I need to find 2 second running back. Whatever. I can get around a second. Get for around a second. You guys got a few options? Yeah, don't aim for a top 24 running back. And I'm not memeing. Especially of the last 3 years, and it's going to continue to be true this year. They're the least valuable position in fantasy football and the most overvalued. You don't want a top 24 running back. Aim for a top 12 in your running back 2 spot.
Devin Singletary.
I was looking at Singletary the other day. I'm wondering if anyone remembered that.
He's scoring pretty well. And, his upside is absolutely capped because of Josh Allen, but he's scoring well enough. CEH is still scoring well enough.
CEH is a good one.
That was one you probably could have got for a second last week when Isaiah Pacheco was going to take over the world.
No, he was kind of worth a second before that.
Ruin that.
No one wants to believe that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
You probably could get him for less than a second.
This is all. I'd much rather trade
pay
that
first
second.
Montgomery anymore.
No.
I don't want to spend my second on that.
I mean, I don't either, but he's asking a question, so I'm answering.
And I'm.
What about Miles Sanders?
Love it.
But those are the types of running backs. You're either looking at somebody who is a starter that nobody likes or a backup that nobody values.
It says second one. I'd much rather send a second for. Rashad White still in that value range.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather trade my second for that.
But then you're hoping again. You're hoping for
not a player to score.
Leonard Fournette to go on a consecutive cruise.
Yeah,
for the rest of the season. Just be like, hey, I really like the Western Caribbean. You guys have fun in Tampa. That's how Rashad White is valuable. I don't want to spend a second to go get Rashad White on a contending team. I don't.
Just to put it out there, though, the Western Caribbean is very nice.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Don't ask me what is in the Western Caribbean, but I'm sure it's very nice.
Sorry, I am doing something, I swear.
Trying to find a Rashad White rebuttal.
No, I'm just looking at points per game
you.
of the players. They're basically putting up 14 points per game in his running back 2 spot if he got that trade done. And I don't think that's much different than whatever you're streaming or plugging in. And that's the problem with top 24 running backs. It's not better week over week. You're basically just paying extra for not having to make a decision every week. I'd rather shoot for the upside in that spot. But yeah, I'm an idiot. So
but it depends. Again, it depends on your league. Like if you have a deeper league and there's nobody on the waiver wire, like it's not about making decisions. It's if you haven't built your roster with a bunch of running backs depth on your bench, then you don't have that option. You have to go trade for somebody.
Right.
No.
What's on my roster doesn't change the value of players.
Yep.
Well, no, I'm not saying it changes the value of players, but what I'm saying is you can't go just pick somebody up off the waivers. You can't go. So like if I'm going to go spend a second on a player, I would rather spend a second on a player who is scoring 14 points a game than spend a second on Rashad White, who's scoring 5 points a game and hope he scores 14 points a game. That's all I'm saying, Peter. Like I agree with in theory what you're saying, but in practice, if it's a deeper league, and you need to start 2 running backs, I'd rather go get a startable running back.
I do not have the time to look this up. I just don't actually think I don't think you're scoring those 14 points a game any more often than you would with a Rashad White. Yeah, that's just me. Randy, Peter, I love you, but I think you're kind of wrong. It's probably right, Randy. But all the QBs tend to check down a lot to their running backs. Okay, it's a quote. How do I deal with this one?
Toast quarterbacks check down a lot because their arms hurt and they can't throw the ball far.
Well, but
it's hit.
It's also a scheme thing too, because there comes a point in careers where you're trying to get the ball out quick. So it's more a scheme thing than it is the
It can be a scheme thing. Look, if you look at an individual situation, Andrew Luck and tight ends in that scheme were a thing. You can find situations where position is, but it's never just this QB of this type, therefore targets to running back.
Well,
it's
I mean,
not
like
Matt Ryan, therefore targets to Jonathan Taylor.
Happened to check the ball down as quarterbacks, but like you're also saying from the second Saquon stepped on the field with a Giants uniform on, he's been the best offensive player on that team. So yeah, he's going to get a lot of receptions. That had nothing to do with Eli because Daniel Jones checked it down, if like more.
Right.
Yeah.
And Brady about Matt Ryan shifting it towards the running back position, he didn't. Jonathan Taylor never had a very impressive target share for running backs. Like if Matt Ryan was bolstering it, then we're in trouble. Because freaking Naheem Hines just ate his lunch in the target share game for a couple years now. It's not a winning formula. It doesn't happen a lot. And if Big Ben was why they were checking down so much, why are they still doing it? It's not true. If you can look at an individual situation, and honestly, if you were watching and you say that's what this team does, Pete, I'll just believe you. But if you want to tell me you can therefore take that formula and apply it to every other situation in the league, quarterbacks who are this, do this, it just doesn't work. That's what I mean by it. So if you're watching the team and like Matt Ryan seems to be specifically, or that scheme with Matt Ryan seems specifically checking down more, then you just have information I don't have. But if you're telling me it's because Matt Ryan, just as a formulaic thing, some quarterbacks check down more, I can tell you that's not borne out in the history. Doesn't seem to be how it works. Don't know why I clapped. I just like to be empathetic.
You're on Twitter too much. You see the clap emoji after every other word.
And yeah, I might be wrong, but don't tell me it's because Matt Ryan. Tell me you watch and something about that way that system is designed with Matt Ryan in it specifically means this. Then sure, but also why has the running back position not been getting more targeted then? Because it hasn't. It's been below league average. Then that's just information I don't have. But I can tell you the quarterback, therefore targets to the position doesn't work as a formula. Ron, Did I win the trade? 10-team Superflex, no tight end premium. I give Breece Hall and Tua for Chase. Superflex. I have Watson and Kyler, which is nice, and 101, which are replaced
with the trade. Yeah, I think you did. I love Tua, but we're talking 10-team. Even if it is Superflex, that devalues quarterbacks a little bit, and I love Tua, but he's not top 5, top 6.
Chase is the one difference maker, and
so
real difference maker in this trade.
And Breece Hall might be that, but he's hurt. I like it.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's close. Like it's not like
it's a good trade,
but it's
honestly no. Yeah, it's a good trade. I would take Chase. I would send this to get Chase, but it would make me sad to lose Tua.
Yep. And
it would make me sad to lose Tua, but
I'm already
I think
sad
it's a win
from last week from losing Hall. But you know,
I'll go you on better. I run. I don't think you won this trade. I think you got a fair trade. The other team is getting something very valuable.
It's a good trade.
We're sad to lose, and Chase is what I would choose if I had the option. So
it's nice
I think
to
this is a
see
good trade, and I would
a trade for Chase that isn't the farm. Like it's a good deal for Chase. It's not like you didn't have to Godfather deal it.
But again, in general, it's better. That trade partner isn't going to walk away later thinking, that guy took advantage of me. He's going to think, that guy did a good trade. This guy did a good trade with me. I like that. I'll trade with him again. So, yeah, in that way, clear win. Shoko, is Zach Wilson going to start slinging?
Slinging.
This is not about his mom or her friends.
He is not going to throw the ball. They don't want him to throw the ball. They are being smart. He's not great, so they don't want him to throw the ball a lot.
Or is the Robinson signing an indication that they want to keep scoring on the ground game? I think they want to keep scoring on the ground game anyway.
They are regulating Zach Wilson. It's because that's what they have to do. I don't know if they hope he gets better, so they can throw the ball more, or if they're already just treating him like Baker, and they're trying to keep him under control so he doesn't lose them games. But yeah, no, they are not going to start throwing more anytime soon.
Yeah, and you don't really want him to. Like, he's not going to get better.
I tweeted this out the other day. After 7 weeks of Jets football, the passing touchdowns go like this: Joe Flacco 5, Braxton Berrios 1, Zach Wilson 1. It's not Zach Wilson.
Trade for Braxton Berrios.
That's the one. Especially this week against the Patriots, because he's going to have like 17 points for fantasy. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So I think Robinson's in contention to put up points like he's done before, actually. I think that might be the most interesting point of it. But even if it was a more balanced scheme, I think that would be true. I think Zach Wilson's not throwing a lot because Zach Wilson doesn't throw a lot.
Because you don't want him to.
Yeah. As long as he's not, the mystery still remains. So in Dynasty, it might actually be a positive. KS, is Pickens worth a first? I know. I was trying to rank this for my article. I think so, but it's like mid to late.
This is a leading question. So yes, he is, but not a 23 first, because they're going to be worth more. That you're going to be able to get Pickens plus for a 23 first in 4 months.
Let's say you can see the future, or you're in a league that awards the pick order in week 7. You have the 112 in a 1 quarterback league. You still take that over Pickens? Of course, this is weirdly specific in a situation that can't happen, but
I think I do.
Okay.
Because again, once you get to that draft, I think you're going to get more than Pickens, unless Pickens just absolutely falls out for the next 10 weeks.
All we could say, like that's why I was trying to ask a right now question, because of course Pickens can go nuts, but
if he continues to do what he does, I think you get Pickens plus for that first when the 23 draft comes up.
Because there are some trades,
but he's worth a first. He is.
Weird thing that we're not really taking into consideration, the hype for the draft haven't started yet.
I know.
We have such hype around these picks, but like we don't have real names to these picks yet. Like the average person, like, you know, I talk to Bill all the time, and he lists me 16 people off the top of his head, and I'm like, cool, I know 5 of those names. So like, when these players come out, everyone's gonna find that person they fall in love with, like you know, everyone always seems to do, and yeah, like it's gonna get more interesting, which is why it's really hard to swap pick for player and feel good about it.
Right.
But especially when you don't know what that player is. If you know that player is good, if we're talking like these, you know, Gibby Higgins, Waddle, C. Lamb, like those top range guys where you know they're good, they're still kind of young. Okay, I'll talk about giving a pick for them. Steph Diggs, he still has another 2 years of being great. So yeah, I'll give a pick for him. Pickens,
the pick just gives you so much more flexibility.
Yep.
And insulation, like value insulation. And for you, Russ, as a guy who trades, how many people in your league are going to be interested in trading for Pickens? Just
I mean, you're probably just a few, but
how many people are interested in trading for a 23 first?
Yep.
And so that to me is the difference. And it's not to say that Pickens isn't worth the first, because he absolutely is. But the flexibility, the insulation, all of that with the first is worth more.
That is,
especially the 23 class with the hype and the crescendo that hasn't even built yet.
There are some trades that I will say I will do, but you probably shouldn't for reasons that they just mentioned. It's the same thing we were just arguing about, where I don't feel like I can get everything I should sometimes. So sometimes I just take the bird in hand, rightly or wrongly, even though I know it's better. Rashad Perriman? Nope. Wait. Rashad Bateman. They sound remarkably alike. He's on this list for me. I trade mid to late if I'm very confident that's what it is. First for Rashad Bateman right now, because I like that bird in my hand, and I'm not sure I will do better with it later. However, if I'm telling you or anyone else, I would say you should wait. You could get a plus or even better trade with that first later, because everything they just said is absolutely right. There is an advantage to knowing what you're strong at and what you're weak at, though. And I know if I can get things that I think are fair, I take trades. And so Pickens is getting into that conversation. I don't think he's there quite for me just yet, and so I play the wait and see game. But there are some players like Perriman and like Bateman that I do that trade now, even though I know it's probably a little too early. That I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, I will lose trades because I'm more confident in my assessment of Bateman than my ability to bet better trades in 3 months. And yeah, I was just going to throw that out there. So if that weighs on you, KS, by all means, let it do. Having said that, I don't think Pickens is quite in that category yet. So even for me, I'm probably not doing it just yet, because he does have to do it for another 6 weeks before he really gets there. Olave, on the other hand, is the opposite. Sean made a cascading trade. First traded Kelsey and Curtis Samuel for Pitts and Garrett Wilson. Then traded Wilson and Pitts for Barkley, Amari Cooper, and Higbee.
Traded Kelsey and Curtis Samuel for Pitts and Garrett Wilson, then traded Wilson. So you traded Kelsey and Curtis Samuel for Barkley, Cooper, and Higbee.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelsey is Kelsey, but Barkley is Barkley. Cooper scoring really well, and Higbee is actually also.
Yeah.
So I like that. And you aged down from 31 or 32. So I like it.
There you go. Frank Ann, can you guys imagine doing high knees in the aisle of an airplane?
I gotta feel like the high altitude would just make my knees hurt worse somehow. Like I don't know how.
I can't imagine me doing high knees.
But you gotta get in the right frame of mind, Frank. You gotta be unlimited.
You gotta eat the sandwich through the paper or whatever the hell that weird commercial is.
Unlimited.
If Russell Wilson is doing some kind of living art piece, respect.
It feels that way, right?
But I think he shouldn't have done it. And if he's not, like, we as a society might have failed him. Because if this is really him, he's...
Season 4 of Westworld. Season 4 of Westworld is going to be the story of how the Russell Wilson robot escaped from the Westworld sports complex and snuck out into the real world, started to play baseball, decided that he was going to play football.
Only found the good part of the internet. Like he found his way onto Datternet, like.
When you're like 12 years old and you're just starting to get some hormones, and like in your head you imagine how cool it would be to act like such a tough, cool, braggadocious guy. And that one guy you had in your school that was trying to be that guy, constantly bragging and talking about how hard he's working, but it always came off weird. Like, I exercise when other people sleep. Yeah, like that's not hitting the mark you think it is. It's like Russell Wilson either is a living art piece or never aged past that point where he doesn't realize the thing he's saying he thinks makes him sound cool makes him sound stupid. If you know what I mean? Like that braggadocious 12-year-old, like, I work out when other people sleep on the plane. Like, dude, that's not making you sound the way you think it's making you sound. I don't know.
I really think he's just leaning into it at this point.
I hope so. Because if so, that he's doing a very good job.
Pete, you got to go to the next. Yeah. This is the one.
Hey, Peter, just popping in to say I was right about Paris Campbell. If you recall, I said he would finally break out this season. I'm going to argue about the definition of breaking out a little bit. Say they have to be,
He's done what he's done these past 2 games a couple of times.
Every time he's been healthy, he has done this.
It's just that part that needs to be circled and fingers crossed and prayed on, like prayer hands and all of that stuff. Like if he could stay healthy, then this is what he is.
Between the last 2 games and that one game in his first season, we're now dealing with the full-on Terrence Marshall sample size that had everyone convinced he was great. 3 games. So, go you. I'm rooting for him. Jesus. More players need to be able to
back. You are a lying liar face who lies.
Okay, more people will need to be able to come back from an injury and not have just been wiped out by their team. Because it does happen. I think a lot of the signal we catch is teams move on when players could have come back and showed more of what they could have been. So
all I know is Zach Pascal has 6 catches for 39 yards on the best offense in the NFL in Philadelphia. That's all I know, Peter. And Paris Campbell.
Is that all you know?
Is doing Paris Campbell things.
Oh, best 6 catches yours, buddy. Recovering really truther. Contending 12-team Superflex, 2 tight end premium, full PPR, half-point first down bonus. I'm impressed with myself. I'm going to stop for a minute and appreciate that I was able to decode FD like mid-sentence. Like I didn't even go.
Good for you.
Give London and AJ Dillon. Get a lot. Yes. Olave, please. Olave over London at this point. Is that crazy?
I mean, it is, like you said, with the trade calculator, but no. Like, and I think like London's been good.
They just don't want to use him.
You're just having to figure out what they're doing in Atlanta. But Olave has been amazing and has been throwing the ball. So,
I feel bad because Wilson and London both did enough early. I felt like we had to take it. Remember, they're good, even if they struggle later. Yeah. At this point, then looks like they're not even going to finish in the top. They're like ranking in the 50s at wide receiver, and that crosses none of my potential year 2 breakout thresholds, and that's bad. Olave's the only one set to finish in the top 24. In fact, over his last 3 games, he's averaged 18 points per game, which means he could pull a Jalen Waddle and finish in the top 12 late in the year. And that's good. That's really good. So, yeah. Drop a like it's hot. Thank you. I really appreciate you throwing these things in that make me say them. And I read them in just the most yo. terrible ways.
Oh.
Drop a like it's hot. It makes it sound like I'm Russell Wilson living art piece, like trying to sound like I'm one with the youth. I see what you're doing, Ridley Truth, and I appreciate it.
Peter, I got in the car today. I had both of the boys. We had to go do a grocery pickup, and I had been listening to either YouTube or it was the Crossroads. And so I got in, my phone automatically connected to the Bluetooth, and you came on and said, "Hello, this is Peter Howard." And from the backseat, Caleb says, "Hello, Peter Howard." And it just like, so you do connect with the youth.
I love it.
I am his number one fan. And
awesome.
Recovering Ridley Truth, one question I'll always wonder that I'll probably never know the answer to: if Ridley ever hit that parlay.
I hope so. I hope at least there was some.
Yeah. Good question, though. I can hear myself. Rojo Fish, I'm in third place. Just lost to the undefeated team by 3 points. QB's killing me. A-Rod, Stafford, Zach. Oh, that's a rough lineup. Winston. Rest of my team is loaded. Was offered Hurts, AJ Brown for a 23 first, 24 first, 25 first.
No, 325 firsts. But that's still 3 firsts for Hurts and 2 firsts for AJ Brown, and the firsts are far enough out that whatever win. Yes.
Wait. He's getting Hurts and AJ Brown, right?
Yes.
Yes. Do that. Genius that I am. I would. It took me a second, but yeah, I would definitely do that trade.
What do you think, Russ? You're the trade guy, but we just spent 5
Sorry,
firsts.
I was super zoned out for a second.
We just spent 5 firsts, most of them far in the future, for Hurts and AJ Brown.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
325 first. Oh god, yes. Go.
Yeah.
Go, Rojo Fish.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? You look good doing it. You go win that championship. You're looking good. Clinton Davis, 10-team Superflex start 10. Should I offer Danny Dime? Should I go after Danny Dimes? No. Objectively, no.
He's doing really well. He's a good schedule going forward.
He runs very well.
Yes.
Which matters in fantasy.
I refer you to a follow that I found because of you called Trash Sandwiches, who says that Danny Dimes reminds her of her dog, because just when she's starting to think he's looking really athletic, he works face first into a speed limit sign.
Yes.
Danny Dimes, so no. Kittle and Javonte, I don't mind doing that at all. Current quarterbacks, Danny Dimes and Kittle for Javonte, sorry.
Yeah.
Current quarterbacks are Stafford, Tanny, Fields, Mack, Zach Wilson, Heineke, Dalton. It's that kind of year, isn't it? Yeah. Just lost
started for the season now,
so she's really trying to add Kittle for Javonte. That's what that trade is for me. I like Kittle.
Seems like it, yeah. I mean, Dimes has value, but yes, I would send Dimes and Kittle for Javonte. And I'm not even super in go after Javonte right now, but I still think that's a good price.
But Clinton's saying go after Danny Dimes and Kittle, so he's trading Javonte for Danny Dimes and Kittle. Right?
No. 10-team Superflex, no.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Just
I
if we've got the trade the right way around.
Yeah, I would find something better to do with Javonte if you wanted to move. Because if you're trading in 10-team Superflex for a quarterback when you already have middling quarterbacks, Javonte and Mac, if there's still a Mac person in your league, and go get Hurts.
Yeah, I take try countering, take Danny out of it, and just add something, a 24 first or something but that's where I'm at. Roger Fish, 10-10 Superflex half-point PPR for that trade. Don't even mind. Go. I would do that. Cascade trades equals white elephant gifts sharing at Christmas.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't get that one.
They also call it a Yankee swap. I don't know what you would call it in England, Peter, but it's when there are 10 people, everybody brings a gift, and then you don't know which gifts are what. You open one up, and then you can either keep that gift or trade it for the next gift.
That's nice. I'm in Kentucky, just to clarify. I don't know what they call it here too. I never heard of that. It sounds fun.
I've also heard it
LeBron.
called Dirty Santa or something like that.
I thought it was a Billy Bob Thornton movie. That
different. Sounds like something very different. Sounds like an Urban Dictionary thing. I have Swift and ETN in a building team with 3 potential top 3 picks and Superflex. Should I try to move either of those 2 players, knowing the running backs that are coming out next year?
ETN's an easy trade for me right now, especially if you're rebuilding.
I feel like we had the same question from a different person with the 2 same running backs.
Yeah, it's always ETN and Swift.
I would hold Swift and sell ETN in almost all situations. Almost all. Adam Klein, should I trade Khalil Herbert for Elijah Moore straight up? That's an interesting question. Someone's overpaying for Herbert, but I kind of get it. I want more in a vacuum here. Khalil Herbert's a really interesting upside, though. I get it.
But, okay. So Khalil Herbert's interesting upside, but will also be replaced by whoever they draft to replace David Montgomery. It's not going to be Khalil Herbert's backfield. It won't be. I'm sorry.
He does well, and whenever they put him in,
he's fine. Yeah, he's good. But I would rather have the ceiling potential of Elijah Moore. Yes, Adam, I would do that. I think you can find Khalil Herbert every year on your waiver wire.
That's a yes. That is fair.
Yeah. Again, I went with the Moore side. We don't normally have as clear a view of what they can do with the job, but that's neither here nor there. Thomas H. Inbox trade. Give Kamara and Goddard. Get DK James Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In Dynasty, the DK side just wins. Was contending, but want to move Kamara sooner rather than later. Yeah, I get that too. And James Robinson's probably going to get a value bump once he starts playing again too. So, yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can someone take over for me reading in a second? Just want to
Recovering Ridley Truther started tracking how many offers I send per day for 1 week across 54 leagues, dude.
This really is you, Russ.
In 2 days, did 15 day 1 and 21 day 2. I chased the thrill of an accept notification. I get it, man. I mean, I never got up to the level of 54 leagues. I know he does a lot more portfolio-esque than I ever have the energy for anyway. But no, that's awesome. I love it. And I mean, I've probably sent more than 15 today, and I'm in literally half the leagues. So yeah, no, that's awesome. I love it. Next question, even though we can't put it on the list. Sean says, real cascading trade I did, traded Kelsey. We read that already. Recovering Ridley Truther again. Is anyone else noticing this year people are more greedy than usual with their older 28-plus-year-old vets, especially teams in 9th to 12th place, process over players? No, honestly. I haven't seen the bad teams holding on to old players. What I have seen right now, people feel like they're still competing longer than they should this season.
Well, and I think the other thing is we're valuing the 23 picks more. And so, you know, those 28 plus year players that would normally garner a late first, early second, you're looking at a late first going, no way I'm trading a late first for that guy. And so it feels like people are being more stingy when it's really a little bit to do with the value of the next class. At least in my limited experience. I mean, I don't have 54 leagues.
Yeah, I think
30 leagues, but
I think that ties into the whole title that I put in the show today. The old players are scoring points more than typical. So the teams that have older players are more competitive, which kind of is part of creating that weird dynasty place we are at right now. Like, again, the Josh Jacobs owner should be like, I'm going to the final instead of undervaluing him. Same with Devontae Adams and even Tyreek Hill owner. And those are the older players who usually get devalued a little bit. So
What time is it, Elbow? What does that say right there?
Now 11:32.
So you can say that's Peter and that's Zach.
Okay.
You say hi?
Hello.
I'm gonna go put her back to bed now.
No.
All right. Good night.
Yes, sir. All right. Where were we?
We just did that
recovering. Phil, one QB over summer went against advice of a lot of people and traded Lamb, wide receiver 3 at the time, for Dak and Mahomes. And
one.
Dak.
No, Lamb and
Or
Dak from Mahomes. Yep.
For Mahomes and the 106. Pick turned out to be Olave. Okay. Did I get lucky or any lesson to be learned from this? I mean, CeeDee Lamb still really held really high in Dynasty, and I still believe he's got a few more weeks to put it together. But I guess
Both.
if anything, this is a sell at peak value. You know,
But both.
You got lucky in the draft, but also you improved at quarterback even if it hadn't. So
yeah.
you made a smart trade with a player that was highly valued and hadn't quite done it yet. If he was doing it to this point, it'd be probably closer. But you made a good trade. Yeah, I probably would have told you. I don't know if I would have said no. Ian Dak to Mahomes. I probably would have said no, just CeeDee Lamb. So yeah.
See, I would see.
Yeah,
again with it, like it's the quarterback. If you can get Mahomes, if you can get Allen, if you can get Lamar Jackson in a one quarterback, yes.
Sean says he's a contender, so he moved Pitts and Garrett Wilson immediately.
Sorry, that made me laugh.
G Money, half point PPR, no tight end premium, 12-team Superflex start 10. Traded DeAndre Hopkins for Deontay Johnson. Yeah, I like that. If you're not a contender.
I would say if I'm a contender, I think Hopkins is going to score a bunch right now, and not
going to outscore him.
Yeah, but yes, long term, Deontay.
I wouldn't have done the second trade if I didn't feel like I won the first trade. That's part of this, yeah. Flowsaurus, do I trust my quarterbacks is my question. My wide receivers and running backs and tight ends are good.
You never trust your quarterbacks. We'll have to go back and find his quarterbacks, though.
Yeah, I'm looking. I actually, if the top 5 quarterbacks, I kind of trust them more, value and points wise, than my wide receivers and running backs. But this one maybe. Yeah, I remember this. All of those are hard to trust.
Yeah, but I don't mind. Like, I don't mind having Geno as my 1 and Fields as my 2 for this year. Like, I don't mind that.
It's fine. Yeah, I'd play it out. Professional that I am, it takes me a second.
Trust is an awfully strong.
Trust, yeah. I don't know. No, I go that far. You know. Real Misfit Toys, 12 teams with flex PPR, start 9. Christian Kirk for Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, please.
Smith, yep.
I don't think too hard about it. Ridley Truther, people that started Dynasty on one platform are going to prefer it usually over another. I think in general, we tend to get used to, we like what we like. Honestly, I still miss a little ESPN.
I tell you, my favorite platform ever was like Yahoo circa 2010. Like, it was awesome. They just come out with an app, but it was slick, but you couldn't do Dynasty on it.
Similar, I started on ESPN, and I still kind of I think the UI on ESPN is better than anywhere else I find, but you can't do Dynasty on it.
Yep.
Top 6 total points 4.
Oh, so now we're back to where
that's his team
he was
with
competing.
Those quarterbacks. Yep. Yeah. You just play and guess them every week at quarterback, but I would keep rolling it. Sold Devontae Foreman for 23 third. It's a little low.
Yeah, I'd probably
Second
want a
is probably where
second. I'd probably hold out until he had a big week and then try it again. But I don't hate it.
Yeah. I was just offered a third for Tim Patrick, and that's also I guess do it. And I turned it down because I don't want a third. It's
But
like
I'd rather have a third than
you
Tim
have to
Patrick.
trade
I know.
things people like to get trades done. We were always equating players to values.
But
like 3 picks, 4 picks. But at the end of the day, if I don't want the fucking third, then you just don't get the play. You're gonna have to make a trade where I get something I'm interested.
That's the one though. To me, Peter, is there are more people in my league who will value a third than there are people who will value Tim Patrick. So I'd rather have the third to package with something than Tim Patrick to package with something. So
I mean, I will fully agree with that, but only when my team is building. Like I'm bad, my team's in trouble.
Yeah.
Do I willingly accept the process? If my team's fine and I am the one guy in the league who will like Tim Patrick a little bit. Like I'm just going to keep rostering him. But sorry, that's neither here nor there. Would you trade Deontay for Pickens straight up? Well, you're buying back years, but
I'd still rather have Deontay. But yeah,
I expect Deontay to be the wide receiver one. So no. But I think the value is not far off for most people right now. But for me, take Deontay. Thanks for info. I may see what happens next week and try to sell after that. If I'm not doing well. Yeah, you got a little time, where you still got value players on your team too. You're not rebuilding. You just get to play it out sometimes. Benjamin, I got a team that should have been in the mix, 4th in points for, but is 2-5 and just lost Breece. Previously lost Lance and 223 first, but no 24 first. Healthy team remaining is below. You actually called Zach Reed, and this is your Scott Fishbowl team because that's like healthy points for struggling with start-sit decisions.
Yeah, but I'm still doing well in even though in spite of me, I'm still doing well in the Scott Fishbowl.
I think you're fine. He doesn't have JT's just starting to come back. Kamara's fine. Saquon's good, great even. Like I think you're fine. Like I play this one out. I don't see a lot of you're dead next year if you don't win. You've got plenty of young players. You got Waddle. The wide receiver core's a little old outside of that, but I'm fine with it.
I mean, not. I mean, you got Higgins and Waddle, so it's.
I didn't see Higgins.
Yeah,
right.
Man.
How is it in an uphill? I'm struggling. Like you've got Saquon and JT's back, but even if JT remains injured, you're starting Saquon and Kamara at running back. There's 2 top 12 running backs. Deontay's top 24. Higgins is top 24. He's a little injured right now. Sutton's top 24. Like you don't have the real punch at wide receiver, but you're solid, and you have Andrews giving you a points per game. Like I think this is easily a playoff team.
Well, but the problem is though, if you're in a league that doesn't, so most of my leagues, Benjamin, and this is something that you could try to put through with your commissioner, not necessarily for next year, but the year after, because that's how we try to do it. Is if we're making a change to the league rules, we do it 2 years out. We award the last spot or the last 2 spots, depending on my league, to the highest total points of a team that's not already in the league, the playoffs based on record. So if it's a 12-team league and we do 6 playoff teams, the top 4 are based on record. 5 and 6 are the top 2 points for not already in that top 4 in record. So it kind of accounts for you having bad luck, having that variance hit you where like you're 4th in points for, but you still are 2 and 5.
Would you try and play all out here, Zach? I mean, he's got youth. He's got good scoring players right now. And the league, and I'm just picking up on this sentence, 23 first are a no-go. Your league is strongly
Yeah.
I'm building. I want this value, which
If
means they're selling their points players a little easier.
If 23
You know what I mean?
firsts, if 23 firsts are a no-go, then I'm going to try to you go after
This
Hurts.
is a really solid
You
roster.
go after because you could make some hay with the quarterback position there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And
so go try to get a quarterback one with your firsts. Like that's I don't.
you're trying
see
to
an
sell
issue.
first, but that's what
Yeah.
I mean. You would have to go all in on it.
Yeah,
But
and see
I
that,
like this team, man. This year, Saquon and Kamara, you're in a window, and
Yeah.
you've got Waddle and Higgins, so you're not dead, even if you lose. And those other players are going to keep putting up points, but their values them. Fairmouth and Andrews, I think you're solid for youth,
But
even if you have to skip next draft.
This is one too where, like, after this season, it would be sell Saquon, sell Kamara for whatever you could get, probably sell Taylor, and then start to rebuild. But man, I don't mind going after this one.
I feel like you should try and do that in the offseason. Like, you have two real solid running backs. I know, and you know your league better than me. How often do you find yourself in a position with this many top 12 scorers for the remainder of the season? I know you've had rough luck to start, but I might push for that advantage at quarterback, see what else you can move. I'll play to win. I think this is a really solid roster to make that move, and it's probably a little easier this year to try to win rather than try to tank. And then in this offseason or after the draft, or you can start selling off and being, okay, I need to acquire more value. And if you've got a win, that feels so much better doing it after you've just won.
And also go look at teams that are non-contenders and go look for the DeAndre Hopkins, go look for the Austin Eckler, go look for the Josh Jacobs. And if they're on any of those rosters, you may be able to get them for even a little less than
those older players that are winning now. But I'm just... like, because the other option is start selling now. It's decision time, and you've got things that you could sell. But if the league's just no-go on 23 picks, I'm assuming more teams in your league are the opposite way, which the easiest path, and you have a really great roster to do it, is to push to win. Kind of reading some tea leaves there, Ben, but I think you can really push to this season and not lose too much in building value this offseason with those players. That's where my head would be at. I'll be sending Trez to try and do that, to be honest. Three of my friends. Hey, Kane. Tim Shady. Sup, guys? Are you higher on Fields now? Yeah, I am. I can admit an L here. I thought I put him in the Zach Wilson conversation. Zach Wilson's going as we kind of expected. And I did try and say positive, I hope, for Fields, but I lowered him in ranks. And the last 3 games, he looks more positive. I do think I've got him on that. I would take $400, even though I expect he could go up to $700 in value later, just because I'm still a little skittish. But he's been great.
He's been okay. So he still had the last 3 games. You say he's been solid.
And mine's just through a fantasy reflection.
Well, but he's thrown for 208 yards. 190 yards and 179 yards. It just so happens that they've kind of designed more runs for him, which is good. Now, I'm not saying that's not good. He's run for 47, 88, and 82 with a touchdown. So that's where you're getting your points from. So, he hasn't been as good as you think he has in terms of actual quarterback.
Yeah, I get it.
But to me, he's still he's always where he has been. I had him as the quarterback 2 in that class. I think he's really good. But there are a lot of he sometimes is slow processing, and you've seen that, and having a bad offensive line and having a fairly vanilla offense without a lot of
if the team keeps leaning into it, though, what he is, and they build a Josh Allen offense around him, not that he's going to be Josh, or a Lamar Jackson offense around, and they stick with it.
They just said that they've started to steal plays from Baltimore, which they absolutely should. And again, Fields is not bad. I think Fields is a good quarterback,
Very
but
talented,
but
yeah.
not because of these last 3 weeks, Tim. Like he's been you've been hoping that he gets out from underneath the coaching, and also he's got a little bit of growing to do too.
That's kind of what I mean about the last three. Like the team has started to lean in. If the team commits to the quarterback they have, I think he can do stuff, and that's. But like, I think it's positive.
But if you watch the I'm a Pats fan, so I watched as much as I hated to. I watched the last game, and so much of what Fields did was drop back, mess up, get chased out of the pocket, and then just run for 40 yards because the Patriots are terrible and lost contain and didn't spy him. And like, that's not anything that the team did. I mean, there were a couple design runs where Fields was great, and that's awesome. But like, I'm still tepid on the Bears, even though I like Justin Fields.
How'd I do on this trade? Traded a 23 first, Josh Doxson, and a 23 third for DK Metcalf and a 24 second. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty even. I do. I do. Probably the DK side, but it's pretty even.
Okay. Waddle and 2 seconds for T is wild. Yes.
Yeah, but Russ likes T.
He really does. Joseph, 12-team half-point PPR, 1 quarterback. 1 and 6. That's unfortunate. Just lost Breece. That's unfortunate again. Would you sell Deontay? And if yes, what would you try and get a first for him? That's where we're at. Would I sell him? I think I'm higher than most people on Deontay. I think I'd find better value on Pittman, but you're going to point out I hate Pittman.
I mean, sell Wandell and sell Wandell and Hardman on hype.
I'm more likely to sell all of these values at the ADP value, because I think Deontay is a little unfair. But that's what you're looking for Deontay, if that's the guy you've highlighted that you want to sell. I just don't like QBs under 5'10", except Flutie, obviously. Tua, Kylett, Russell Wilson.
Hey, Russell Wilson says he's 5'11".
Well, I don't like him anymore. I only like quarterbacks under 5'11". Gary Russell. Hey, fellas. Great show. Thanks very much, man. As always. He says as he just forgets how to use a chair. 12-team PPR was offered David Montgomery and Michael Carter, and a 23 first for Derrick Henry. Yes. I'd take that. And Isaiah Pacheco.
Yep.
Or Pacheco. I already own my 523 first, but want to do it. Am I crazy? No, I don't think it's crazy at all. I mean, especially if you're selling, Derrick Henry's of a tier that you can hesitate, but no, if you're selling, you're selling. I think that's fair. Am I wrong, Zach?
No, I don't mind that, especially if you're not competing. And my guess is if you already have 523 firsts, you're probably not competing. So
what's and again, don't be like, oh no, I'm acquiring too many firsts. I get it. It feels like this is ridiculous at this point. Maybe the class, but no, you just keep going where you're going. It's fine. That's the best dab emoji YouTube has.
Oh, the elbow cough.
Trying to keep the stream hip while also being 30. Yeah. Older. But yeah, appreciate it. JCast, you are not in a simulation. My second comment was a different question. Was it? Oh, I'm sorry. That was a while ago. However, I still would like to say I'm probably in a simulation. 12-team, 1 PPR, 1 QB. Would you trade a 223 first, 224 first?
That is a lot. No, I would not.
For Jonathan Taylor and Hollywood Brown and Devontae Smith. Let's see. 3, 4. No.
I think you're heavy by the seconds.
Well, Jonathan Taylor's worth 3. And that's there. And then Hollywood Brown's worth 1. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second. And Devontae Smith is worth the first. I don't think that's too off.
Man, I don't know. I don't think Taylor's quite 3, but maybe.
It's honestly where you can start asking where those 23 firsts are.
Yeah.
Honestly, and if any of them look like they're early, the answer's no. But if they're not, if they're late especially, I'll be like, yeah, sure.
No.
Fair enough. Getting a lot wrong today.
Well, no, but this is the time. So this is the point in, although his value's down because he's not scoring right now, but this is the point in Jonathan Taylor's career where I'm trading Jonathan Taylor.
That's fair. Yeah, that was what I was hesitant. Like, I don't want to buy into Jonathan Taylor at this point.
So with running backs, I'm getting 2 good years out of them, 3 at the most before I trade them to go get Devontae Smith, Olave, Jalen Waddle, the young proven wide receivers, and a pick, because you can do that.
If you threw an Olave, the Smith was on the other. Like, I'm looking. Yeah. So you're right. Yeah. Give Kenneth Walker, get London, and a 24. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And Kenneth Walker's going to be good, by the way. As much as he doesn't have to catch passes to do it, he's going to impress us down the stretch. He's on the exact right team for it.
We said that last week. He's the
best Kenneth Walker bad sell.
So Kenneth Walker in this class is the Nick Chubb in the 2018? Because that was the Barkley. Yeah, it was Barkley and Chubb. And so, and it's not saying that Walker is bad, but Nick Chubb has been absolutely incredible. He is first in rushing yards, first in yards after contact, first in rushing touchdowns, first in forced missed tackles, first in explosive runs, and is trailing Austin Eckler by 37 points overall, and is running back 4 in points per game behind Eckler, Barkley, and Josh Jacobs. So again, it's not to say Walker isn't awesome. It's not to say Chubb isn't awesome. Pass catching matters so much. And so, I'd give Walker to get, and he doesn't want to be called Kenneth either, Jack.
Oh,
he wants to be called Ken.
Okay.
So,
and you're not going to get a Ken Walker with that 24 first either. And London is struggling lately, but it's just where the value moves. Like, if I'm on a team that's winning, if points matter to me right now,
then it's Walker. Yeah. Yep.
Like, that's where it is. It's good enough. The trade is right. In a vacuum, I take the London on the first side because Dynasty. But you're not in a vacuum.
That's that's part of, I think, what we're trying to do week in and week out is get you in the chat, watching the stream. We're trying to get you to be thinking about your team and these trades as not a one of, but these trades in the context of your team, in the context of what you're trying to do, because you should have a strategy with your team. You should either be trying to win, trying to build on the fly, or trying to tear down, rebuild with a target of a class. And so, it matters. Context matters to all of these. And so that's why it's 11:56 and we just got to 10:38. That's yeah.
I do. Oh, he's talking to Gary, so we get to move on. Open 24 hours. Homies, my contender got ravished by injuries. Sounds like we're about to sack a city. Traded away my Javonte and Dobbins to a tanking team. Got Saquon back. Saquon, don't call me Charles. That's terrible.
Terrible.
This is how you dynasty. I mean, it's one way to dynasty, and I like where you're going with it. Max, just lost Hall and Mike W on a contender. Who should I go after to stay competitive? Have 2 top 3 projected firsts, 1 late. Have CMC, Kelsey, Amari, Brady, Sutton, Gus, Deontay, starting Watson too. Well, CMC, you've got a top 5 running back, just in case you weren't like he's going to do it. He's projected top 5 this week after last week. You've got Kelsey. This is like a win now roster. And
Hopkins,
you've
Michael
got-
Thomas.
Yeah.
Like those are two right off the top of my head that should score that you can get cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to spend first, go get somebody like Waddle.
I don't think you spend first on this roster, though. You're old enough that spending first is probably bad for you. I would try and get some of those cheaper point scorers. And if not, you're good because you're going to be able to basically rebuild in the draft, and you'll have some older players that are going to still put up.
But what I'm saying is like if you spend 2 first for Waddle, that's a win.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm not saying.
That's
first
fair,
on Thomas, but like if you're going to go get a player that
And
you're
in
gonna
a way
spend to
that-
get points,
yes,
go get the younger. Yep.
Yeah. You can't afford to bleed the value, but you can afford to try to win because of your current point scorers on your roster. So I get it. Yeah. Non-Superflex starts 7. That matters a little bit. In fact, it makes me like your team a little bit more because studs matter and you've got at least 2. Superflex means you don't have to worry about that position. No, I stick with what I said. Open that team dealing with Swift. Lost Patterson and Javonte traded 24 first for Dobbins. Dobbins got hurt, lost Hollywood, so traded Hollywood for Mike Williams and Knox. Now Williams hurt. It's you. Clearly, you're the problem. You keep trading for players so they get hurt. Like,
I'm going to give you a list of players on my team that you are not allowed to trade for.
By the way, could you not
Yeah.
trade for Mark Andrews right now? That'd be great. Grimley 1314. 12 team Superflex PPR non-tight end premium full rebuild. 2 trades. Got DJ Moore and Brian Robinson and Boyd.
For Brian Robinson and Boyd.
4 Brian Robinson, Boyd, and 2 fourths.
Yep,
Solid.
I like that one.
And traded Goddard and a late 23 first for 224 seconds and the 102. I like that a lot.
Yep.
The 102 matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that is good. And you get Hall back, and you should have a top. You should have the top 2 picks, if that's what you're saying, for the 102.
Yeah, I think you did well. Phil trade Diggs for Drake London and a 23 first. Yeah. Late 23 first. So.
Yeah, I mean it's okay, but man, I hate to give Diggs up for.
It's that question of London's value. Like he got to kick it up a notch these last 6 weeks. But it's fine.
But I mean, again, I think London has done enough.
Probably, yeah.
Even with the low volume of the team, he's co-opting a pretty decent share. Like
we know it's not because of him,
right?
Essentially, is what you're trying to say. Yeah, and that's fair. Thanks to JT, Breece, Swift, Keenan, Bateman. Yeah, no, having a good year, man. Not join the club, but yeah, I think you're doing well there.
This is
it's the same thing. I'm just checking because of the last time. Yeah, the same thing. And Tim Shady, whose performance has been biggest surprise, good or bad this year?
Geno Smith, top 7 quarterback.
Actually, yeah, didn't even come to mind, but yeah, that's a good one. Honestly, I'll own up to not thinking this. I knew Jacobs had top 12. Josh Jacobs had top 12 in his outcomes. He's done it several times. But if I thought anything like this was possible because of the downgrade of the rest of the position, I would have been much higher on him. I think, yeah, probably biggest miss.
But so much of this is touchdowns too. Like not that you can take that away, but that like the variance in touchdowns and the high rate of touchdowns, like that's going to come down.
Yeah, he's going to touchdown every 129 yards total yards. Nick Chubb's getting one every 100 yards because he's just insane.
But that's been ridiculous too. Like
Austin Eckler, 92 yards per touchdown, but he's doing it in both sides of the game. To be fair,
yeah.
Orange you a little regression, but God,
that was I think that was Harstead who said all running backs are subject to touchdown regression with an asterisk except Austin Eckler.
I have ETN, Swift, and 3 firsts and 2 seconds. I'm rebuilding, and I need their points off my team. What would you send as a starter trade with those pieces for Kitsu or Kyler? I would send Kyler. I would send Swift. Start again. You want Pitts or Kyler, or both, preferably, and those are the pieces that you have. For a start, don't go trading your first. He doesn't say if this is a super flex or not, but like ETM for Kyler sounds like a great trade.
I don't think you get that done. I think it's closer Swift and Kyler.
Okay,
and then
you
might have to, and you might have to throw seconds in with those, but like
however they feel,
yeah.
I'm rebuilding. I have 223 firsts, 424 firsts. One this year will be the 102. If I can keep the 102, what would you give up for the 101? What's the 101 worth this year is essentially the question. And we were just talking about that with Russ, who tends to have a better angle on these kind of things. And it was essentially nothing. He will give up the 101 for almost nothing. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Josh Allen. So you can name a price, I guess.
Well, I mean, you look at what Bijan Robinson is going to be the running back 1 next year, like coming into the season. The running back 1 right now is going off the board in startups at pick 8. So and is the 9th player off the board, but coming off the average of pick number 8. So there aren't a lot of players that are.
There aren't any trades I can think of that I would say you should do. You're giving up both those other firsts and a 24 first kind of a deal, and it's just to keep the depth at that point. If you can get it for less, if they will do it for another first and a 24 first, by all means send it. See if they'll take 2 for 1.
Yeah,
they might not be as down with Bijan as everyone else. I didn't pull that off, I know. But I would try it. But I can't think of any actual reasonable trade based on current value that I would do. It's one of those things. Breece and a 24 third for early 23 first, 24 second, 25 second. It's an early 23 first, which makes me think maybe.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't mind doing that. I think you insulate yourself a little bit with the pick rather than Breece.
You get the injury and the running back gauntlet off your roster. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. 12-team Superflex ETN or a 23 first top 5 plus Singletary.
That one. The
yes.
Top 5 first and Singletary.
Yeah. 10-team Superflex tight end premium. Team 1 Chase ETN. Sorry, that became a sentence. It wasn't meant to be. Chase and ETN. Team 2, 223 early first and a mid 23 first. Ooh, and Sky Moore, Damian Pierce, yes or no?
I think I want the Chase and ETN side because the firsts are Chase, and then I'd rather have ETN than Sky Moore and Damian Pierce.
It's too early first.
Yeah, what Jamar Chase is.
Yeah. He's one of those things that can get you the 101. So
like Chase is at like the 3 firsts are Chase.
So I was going to answer this yes or no because that's specifically what you asked for, but yes or no to which side comes into play. So yes, the Chase side, no, the pick side in this instance. The kid, I know him. 12-team Superflex, Damian Pierce, Christian Watson, Chuba, or DJ Moore, a 23 second and a 24 first. Pierce is worth the first, maybe a little more. Watson,
it's the DJ Moore side, but it's gross.
It's the DJ Moore side,
but it's gross.
It's a little gross.
Unless you want points, and then it's the Pierce side. But
what you have to add to a 24 first to get Drake London? A second and 23?
Yeah. Yep. And I would do that. I think I would do that.
12-team Superflex, start 9, Jacoby, and a mid-24 second for a late 23 first.
It's the first.
Yes.
It's the first. Jacoby's going to score points, though. You're going to have to eat that.
Okay.
Find love. No, I don't need love.
Who needs it?
He's in Green Bay.
Dynasty, 12-team Superflex, start 10, 2 tight end premium, 1.5 tight end premium. 2 tight ends, 1.5 tight end premium. 7, 223 first, mid to late. Mooney, Dubs, receive Mark Andrews. Yes.
Yeah.
I want Mark Andrews.
Yep.
Yeah. What to offer for Garrett Wilson? Mid to late 23 first.
I'd try to get him for a 24 first and a second, but yes.
I would prefer that, but yeah. Lakers ex-commander, I hope you're all doing well. You'll give me a lot of good info. I appreciate that, man. Hopefully. Thanks. Chris Gifford, 12-team Superflex tight end premium. Debo, Diggs, and Geno Smith at 23 fourth for 223 firsts, and Robinson and a 23 third. All right.
That's Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, sorry, Rondo Robinson. I need the elephant metaphor.
Debo Diggs side.
Debo Diggs. 223 first for Debo Diggs, basically. Yeah, Debo Diggs. Easy. Once I figured it out. Last question on a 10-team Superflex half-point PPR league. Is it worth giving up Fields to go from a late first to an early first? I think that's a really smart and good question. Actually, it's the type of thing you're trying to tear up in value sneakily.
But in a
you were the one who had a stronger opinion of Fields, so
Yeah.
what do you think you want to do?
In a Superflex, no, I would not give up a quarterback to move up
To get a quarterback
in the first round. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a little much. You want something coming back your way, and you might do it though, like a second, or is it a lot more than that?
Well, again, you gotta how early are we talking? Like top 3, where you're gonna get a quarterback back, but then so it's really early right now for me to make that decision of giving up Fields.
If you need to feel a little more secure in that it's top 3, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
All right. Flowsaurus, that's QB1 mentality right there. Probably.
High knees at 4 a.m. on a
you got to get that work
international flight. Yeah.
He's got such a busy schedule working out and preparing to play football games the rest of the week.
He was doing grapevines through Heathrow, when they landed.
The kid, 12-team Superflex, Trevor Lawrence or Cousins, and a 23 first. Cousins.
It's a first, yeah. Even though I think Lawrence has looked decent.
I'm really excited about Lawrence, to be honest, based on when he's been able to come back from that terrible season last year.
Yeah. Chris
Gifford, 12-team Superflex, Team 1. Justin Herbert, Team 2, 223.
Herbert.
First, mid, and thirds don't matter here. Yeah, it's just Herbert, man. 12-team Superflex, London or a mid 23 first. It's about right. It's about even.
Yeah, I'd probably take the first at this point, but it's close. Not even. No, it's not. I'd take the first, but it's close.
You can do more things with the first to more teams in your league, but less about where London should be valued. If you want London, I wouldn't go, that's a terrible trade. I'll be like, that's about, it's fair. What is Breece's value in 23 picks right now? 2+, mid to late. It's going to be rough to. Again, his value is going to drop because we all drop their value, and we're going to rise them up when the workout video happens. So I think now's not the time to use his value.
Yeah, I don't think I would trade picks for him right now. I think trade players to go get him, absolutely. But I don't think I'm trading 23 picks to go get.
Yeah, because if you're trying to get Breece Hall, you're looking for future value, but you're trading future value to get Breece Hall, and that's it's counterproductive. Above grief, evening fellows, got an offer today. I send Ayuk, Snoop Connor, no idea, and a 23 first for London. It's too much. Ayuk,
Yeah, don't do it.
good. I don't really want to. Just wanted thoughts. 16 team.
Yeah.
1 QB with IDP, by the way. 16 team are awful. They can be rough, my man. Yeah. Especially in 16 team. Ayuk and Connor.
No, you in 16 team, you don't want to consolidate. You want that.
Yeah, that's what I mean about Ayuk. Yeah. Ayuk is even more startable in that format.
Yep. You want Ayuk in the first.
David Shaheen, no relation, I assume. 12 team Superflex start 11. Breece Hall and a late 23 third, or Marcus Brown and a mid to late 23 first. They're both future things for future things, so it's awkward. I think I take Brown on the first here. I can do more with that first.
Yeah.
The closer we get to the draft. It sucks. It sucks trying to trade Breece Hall right now. Or Marcus Brown for that matter, but he's a wide receiver, so he gets a little bit of a pass in Dynasty.
Olave. But I think you can get more than just ETN for Olave.
See, I think ETN's valued over Olave right now.
That's what. Leagues. Sorry, Peter. That's what I meant. I dyslexic that. I think you can get. Yes, I think you can get more with Olave. Yeah. Yep.
But I would be very happy just to accept Olave there.
Yep.
I just made a trade in a 10-team Superflex league where my QBs were god awful. Cousins, Mac, Baker, Matt Ryan. I traded away JT and CD for Burrow, ETN, and a late 23 first. Did I give too much?
No, I like that. I do like that. You got Burrow.
Yeah, it's Superflex. You got Burrow. Yeah, sorry.
Yep. Yeah. And you got a first, and you got ETN. This is a cascade trade for me. I would turn around and trade ETN and try to get, one of those wide receivers in the same tier. Waddle. I mean, that's
close to Waddle,
immediately immediately where I go to is I'm going to try to go get one of those wide receivers in that tier.
Immediately during that game, I happened to post the passing thought that he probably has a trade now and got lit up. What can you possibly get? And I was like, I don't know. Where's his value going to land? Maybe Waddle. Can you add to get to Waddle? No. Got called an idiot. The next day, he's ranked above Waddle in Dynasty on Keep Trade. Like, yes, you can get Waddle, and so you should do that.
Yeah, but even Waddle, St. Brown, like that.
Yeah, St. Brown. Yeah. There are more. Yeah.
Yep.
Lincoln was here, traded for Greg Deluche. I'm still not sure I'm Dolchich, right?
Yeah.
And gave up Paris Camroy. It is a 1.510 in Premium Dynasty League. Thoughts? I like it. I think Deluche, whose name I do not say properly, and I apologize to his mother. Greg's a difficult one, okay? Showing some interesting signs actually over the last few weeks, and we had some hope from I like this.
Yep.
Move to tight end when you can of a deep wide receiver. Yes.
Yep.
I might start Andrews and Greg this week. Can I?
Why not? He's averaging 11 and change over the first 2 games of his career.
No, I was asking myself if I can remember how to type his name well enough. I can pull up his projection. He's ranked as tight end 19 this week for 8 PPR points. He's somewhat startable, and it might get better throughout the week.
This week is going to be an interesting one though, because they're in London. So
wow, that's rough.
But
is he doing his leg curls on the plane, you think? Because if not,
no, he was one of the guys that was passed out while Russell Wilson was trying to toss peanuts in everybody's mouth while they snored.
I just choked a couple of them. It was fine. Pat Smith, if I'm 7-0,
that's good.
Process trade. Of trading down for Kamara, what running back should I look to snag and pick? I don't think Kamara's too old to like tear down with, if you know what I mean. To try and find points and get value, because that's the sort of player you trade back into. He's a little undervalued because of his age. I can't think of any guy that's lower valued that has his upside from here on out. Anything?
No, that's like Kamara's that if you're competing,
No,
you want Kamara. Like don't rebuild in the middle of your competing season. Like that.
I mean, in your league, if someone was like Damian Pierce is trash, and you want to trade back Kamara to Pierce, who's got a similar points per game outlook but is younger,
Walker, but you're not going to get those guys.
That's just your leg being weird. There's no one in the ADP that fits that description that I can think of. Give Kamara and Amari Cooper for Tyreek Hill. I would think in the same position over here, by the way. Does Tyreek Hill outscore Kamara week over week?
He has.
See, there it comes to do you need your running back one, though? Do you need more wide receiver 1 points? But yeah, Tyreek Hill in a vacuum, but I don't think that accomplishes you being a better winning team. You're a worse winning team now with wide receiver value at an older age. So it's Dynasty fine. But I don't think it helps your competing team.
No.
But yeah, Tyreek Hill, I guess. Deontay, Pickens, Keenan, Mike Williams. Sorry, I must miss that context.
No, it's a Miller analogy.
Right.
Deontay is to Pickens as Keenan is to Mike Williams.
That's fair.
I think
when
Pickens
Lance
is better
did
than
it,
Mike Williams, but
everyone loved him. I guess Lance did the same thing. I don't remember that, but it's so, yeah, probably. Well, Russell Wilson is making something of a career out of being made fun of for things. When Fields does it, he isn't as good. Oh, this was a Fields Lance. Oh, you mean the rushing thing? You see, Lance never really. Well, he did it over that 5-game stretch of this rookie season, I guess. Didn't we say positive things about Fields? Though?
I thought we did.
I know he played 11 and 2 games. I'm just joking. That's fine. Good. As long as I understand what's going on, which is rare. Benjamin, thanks for the response, guys. Uphill battle to get to the playoffs because I'm 2-5 whole, but I agree. I think I should hold and try to ride out the season. I understand your conundrum there, but that's get very few chances that I find to clearly win, or try to win. So I like it. Plus, it'll keep the season interesting for you. Lincoln was here. Would me offering Kamara more on early 23 second for ETN and Devontae Smith, is that too much or too little? Kamara, what more? I'm assuming Elijah.
I mean, any more. DJ, Elijah, Rondell. I don't mind that. I like getting Smith back. I like ETN for the value. I still probably try to trade ETN depending on what my team looks like.
If you're contending,
we're both contending.
They're willing to give you ETN for Kamara and both have similar points per game outputs, and you're both competing. And yeah, that's a your league thing. I think that's fine. If you're competing, ETN is gonna have that range of outcomes.
And I like getting Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith is underrated
in terms of points right now.
A really nice add-on. If you can get that trade done, I think you've done a good job in your league. I already have CMC, Joe Mixon, Zeke. I can see why you want to make a move like that as well, yeah. Someone in my Dynasty League traded a mid-23 first for Drake London. Did he pay a lot? I think that's about where we're putting his value right now. Did he pay more for what London is for what he's doing right now? Yeah, absolutely. But I think he's valuing long term. It's fine as long as he's not.
And do not trade your first for Pickens. Like I know Pickens. Like
I said, I can understand it, but I do think they're right. You can probably do better by the draft. So
I'd rather turn around and see if I could get St. Brown for that same first. I would rather have St. Brown than Pickens.
Yeah. Do we think Andrews will play tomorrow? Mark Andrews, yeah, I don't think it's meant to be a thing that makes him miss time. I currently haven't projected to start, and I usually run it pretty conservative. So, start Ramondre Swift on Mostart in Flex this week, and start Olave or Evans. Okay.
I'd probably start Swift and Olave, but I am terrible at start sit. So we'll let Peter with his
It's not going to be Swift.
his projection. No, he's back this week.
Yeah, again, I usually run it pretty conservative. And again, my predictions are based on an average of consensus ranks. I'm not projecting them to place so far. I haven't updated for the current news, so Swift Mostart.
Oh,
It's not
standard
gonna be
non-PPR though, that changes things. So it's probably Stevenson.
Standard?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stevenson.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortably. By like a 70% majority. Oh, wait, the other one is Evans. I don't think Mike Evans is going to change it. Yeah, it's Stevenson.
No, but is it Olave over Evans or Evans over Olave? Was the
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's Stevenson for the first one, and I would start Mike Evans over Olave still. Yeah, the only ranking agency that I'm using that doesn't have Mike Evans over Olave as an overall start is no one. Apparently, that's like 100%. So, I get it though. Olave's so hot, and especially right now, so you want to start and you want to find room for him, but. Hey, it's your team. If you just want to have fun with a rookie scoring points, I'm not going to tell you can't, but that's the way I currently have it projected. Brady or Dak this week? We need like a theme song as I do this. Brady. We're a little bit hesitant on Dak just coming back, I guess. Well, not just, you know what I mean. CXK, Dynasty 12-team Superflex PPR. Would you trade away... Which would you trade away for Olave? Swift or ETN? I would rather trade ETN. Bad decision? No, I don't think so. Bear in mind you're less competitive because running back is a little bit harder to replace and so on and so forth. But this is Dynasty, so I'm going to take a wide receiver. I think of having similar value, more value, in fact. Awesome. Thanks, guys. No problem, Russ. Traded Adams Mixon for Burks Swift in Dynasty. I understand it. Swift is the real piece at this point, though.
I mean, I think I'd rather have Devontae Adams and Mixon than. Well, again, it depends on points or.
I think it comes down to competing, non-competing, and I already locked that in my. You must not be trying to score points, and if so, yeah, Swift.
Then yes. Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen. No problem, Chris. I kept Chase and ETN in the earlier trade. I traded Diggs and Debo. Oh yeah. Good luck, man. Thanks for asking. And doing what you want. Frankly, happy to offer an opinion as long as you're all willing to do what you think is best. Or you can come back and blame me. I don't. It's fine. I also did the trade to get Justin Herbert. I honestly think that's a win. I mean, you're trading into one of the highest value assets in Superflex you can get at. He's so young. And he is, despite the Chargers' curse, really good. Rain H2O. If I could trade Hopkins for a mid 24 first, unfortunately, he's gonna put up points.
Yeah, but that's the kind of trade that I like to make because Hopkins is probably valued around a second, but a 24 first is a first.
First is first, and it's very far away, but that just means it's gonna slowly accrue and. Hopkins will be a historic wide receiver in the Hall of Fame by the time it happens, but it's not going anywhere. Flowsaurus, we got 5 more. ETN and Foreman or Olave and a 24 late second.
I think it's Olave in the second. Yep.
Yeah, it's the Olave side. And that seems to be the trade, by the way. If you want Olave, you have ETN, you can get that done.
And again, it's not that ETN is bad. ETN
no, he's
is
going
good.
to put up
He's-
points
yeah.
for the season, and he is young, pretty decent running back.
But so much of what he does is just I don't see it as sustainable, but maybe.
I mean, last game that everyone's really excited, rightly so, like 40-something% of his yards came on that one run.
Yeah.
And again,
He's
that
very
emphasis
fast.
on the
Oh my
volume,
goodness, he's fast. Yeah.
and he can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't project him over Josh Jacobs right now for the rest of the season. But that's not saying much because Josh Jacobs is producing at a phenomenal rate. West Coast Chiefer, 12-team Superflex PPR, gives Zeke, Allen Robinson, and Lockett. Yes. Got Debo and Bell. That's yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
It's the Debo.
Do you
side.
still think Debo has top 12 upside with CMC being there? That's a question I got in my Discord, and I was like, yeah, process. Yeah. Good players help good players. I think so. Even with Ayuk.
Yeah.
I just have to believe they help each other, but I understand the hesitation, but by the dip.
I mean, when you got a quarterback as good as Jimmy Garoppolo,
I mean, the handsome alone scores you extra points. I had some questions as
The same question.
Same question. That's
so
not
it's
a
the
problem.
same answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love questions I've already figured out the answer to because they get to sound slightly quicker on the uptake the next time. You see, Carl's trying to unload JMO.
Wait.
You can.
You're gonna wait.
You have to.
Wait, because you're gonna have the hype video. You're gonna have everybody talking about how he's gonna come back. You're gonna have the videos from Alabama where he goes for a 80-yard catch, and people are gonna get excited. They're not excited right now because they haven't seen him. He's hurt, so you're not getting a 23 first. Don't take a 24 first yet. Wait.
24 first is fine. I think you're gonna find it easier in a few weeks. This is where I'd ask you, why are you so desperate to move him right now?
You're going to get the
unless there's
24
something league-wise that makes it really important. Like, just wait.
The 24 first is going to be there.
Someone will do that this off-season. Someone will do that in 2 weeks. I genuinely think.
Yep.
Say CXK. I can do initials. Thank you for your time, guys. Honestly, no problem. Thanks for yours, man. Seriously, you make this, as Zach said at the start, this is what makes this less of a grind for us. So I really appreciate you. Self 7 made 7 Greg 7. Nice. Traded Aaron Jones for Javonte. I think that's a win.
Yep.
Assuming you're not trying to score points right now. Aaron Jones is so good. He's so good. Javonte Williams is younger and also had like 20 expected points per game. He hadn't done the actual points per game yet, but he was getting the volume. And the team sucks. Dynasty. Yes. Yeah, I don't think that's worth it if it's not Dynasty, just to be clear.
No redraft, that would be bad.
That would be bad in redraft or even keeper, to be honest. West Coast Chiefer, yes to Debo.
Valid.
I agree, actually. Just a good general statement. The offense is going to be up when CMC in the running game takes off. Yeah,
it's going to be ridiculous. Yep.
They're already going to the red zone twice as often as the offense that CMC comes from. It's going to dilute his overall share of the offense, but that just means
it's a bigger pie. Smaller piece, bigger pie.
They're going to get to the red zone even more often, be even more successful. And honestly, I think it's good news for everyone. There is a balance of touches that's a little hard to calculate.
Hey, Pete.
But I wouldn't believe everyone gets worse.